Phew.
Well, Dak, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the internet, planet Earth, and parts some might call unknown. It is time for a what could be milestone episode of the House Divided podcast in a singular season. That is.
Well, we know it is in the singular season because
Yes.
we've never made it this far.
No, we have not.
At least that we know. I don't know if we ever numbered them.
Yeah, I don't know if we've. I think we started numbering them last season in season 4.
Right.
Episode 20 of season 5. We got ourselves a bit of a show. So,
oh boy.
With that being said, what is up, everybody? How y'all doing? Before we get into the show, Jordan, do you have an adult beverage of the week? Even though we did not plan on doing an adult beverage of the week.
I actually, well, No, I just have coffee right now.
Oh, well, I have a barrel-aged beer from Founders
Ah,
called
I
Fruitwood.
don't drink a lot of Founders. Honestly enough, I don't know why. There's not really a reason, but I don't.
They got some good stuff that I do like. This is called Fruitwood. I will be sipping on this throughout the podcast tonight. It is a cherry ale aged with maple syrup, aged in maple syrup bourbon barrels. I saw this at the store last week, and I do like cherry ales, and I like barrel aged beer. So
Barrel aged beer, yes. I've never gotten into the cherry stuff.
no,
No, I think Sam Adams had one.
if they have a cherry wheat,
Yeah, and it was all right, but it wasn't like my favorite, so I always overlook it. I think that's available year round as well. So, I mean, I guess it's better than some of the other Sam Adams stuff. So
this is very good.
hey, you know what else? Coffee's very good too.
What's really nice about this and why I like this is they do use Michigan cherry. So everything, I mean, Founders, Michigan company.
Yeah.
So it tastes good. Let's roll on with the show, though. Stupid people say stupid things. We got some. This could be the longest segment of the show. Also, do I have the notes up? I do. Good.
I don't know.
I do.
By the way, now that Rob Parker's face is on the screen, did you see that I did try to get blocked by Rob Parker on the podcast account? Because apparently I'm not blocked there yet.
Did you really? Oh,
yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
I mean, I'm blocked by Rob Parker in 3 different places. I might as well make it 4.
Right. I'm surprised Rob Parker hasn't blocked me yet.
Literally, I thought in the past, all you had to do... literally, what got me blocked on the Motown Rundown account was I just simply replied to one of his tweets that said Kirk Cousins. That was it. And that was enough for him. This time, I actually went deeper into the Kirk Cousins stuff and posted his... BS apology after his terrible Kirk Cousins article from 2008.
Oh, Jesus.
And I thought, as far as I know, let me check. Maybe I haven't checked all day, but this was yesterday. Oh, nope. Still not blocked. God damn it, Rob. Making this more difficult than it has to be. Just do what you need to do, Rob.
Just block.
Just do what's right.
Who wants to go first with stupid people say stupid things?
I mean, I guess I have less, so I'll get these out of the way.
Okay.
Where do we start? Where in the world do we start? Okay, I'm gonna...
Good luck with that.
I'm gonna start here with a NASCAR one, but I'm going to leave out why this person thinks that this is going to happen. This comes from Boyd on Facebook. Profile picture is his dog.
Okay.
As is most stupid people. Not all stupid people. Or not all people that have their profile pictures as dog are stupid. Vast majority of them are.
Facebook.
This person... What?
Facebook. That's all I got.
This person says, I see a lot of wrecks happening. And this is where they name the reason, but I'm going to skip over that for now and have you guess in a second. Way to go, NASCAR, on making another bad decision. And yet they wonder why the sport is dying. Now, this was a comment on video from the Daytona test that they were doing a couple days this week.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah.
Well, I saw pictures from that.
Eric Jones driving that car that's so cute. I mean, that's not going to be legal in the season. There's no chance. Like, that thing, it was crab walking along the track. It's insane. All right. So why do you think that this person thinks that there's going to be a lot of wrecks?
Because go woke, go broke.
I wouldn't have even been shocked if that was the reason.
That seems to be generate a lot of anger for NASCAR fans right now. So that was just my first assumption.
That, you know what's funny about that is that so the Daytona 500 always sells out their tickets from the from Daytona and from NASCAR.
Yep.
It did it a month early this year, and in years past, it's usually like the week before.
I did see something about that on Twitter. I think it was maybe you that did tweet it, which is why I saw it.
I probably did. Yeah, they sold out the 500 quicker than they ever have at their current capacity. So, I mean, that's not working out all that well for the boycott NASCAR people. But anyway, any more guesses on why this person thinks there's going to be a ton of wrecks?
They don't like the new car.
Sort of. Not entirely. It's nothing to do with the next gen car necessarily.
Inbreeding. Alabama.
I will just tell you here. This person says, I see a lot of wrecks because the spotter can't see the car numbers. Of course, hating on the new number placement on the cars, even though the numbers aren't any smaller. They are the same size as they have always been. And you want to know something? They get a spotter guide. Every spotter for these drivers gets a guide that shows you what the car looks like, what every car in the field looks like.
I really thought my inbreeding was I thought that was the right answer for the question you were asking me. I figured this guy. I genuinely believed that this guy's mother was also his grandma.
I mean, in a way, that's what that comment is saying.
And that his sister was also his cousin.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't the actual answer. And that this guy also played banjo after dropping out of school in 2nd grade.
Yeah,
I figured that was the answer.
Yeah, no, apparently everyone's going to crash because the numbers got slid 2 feet forward. Go figure. Moving on to a topic that we know plenty about. Unfortunately, we talked about it earlier in the week. This is a reply to Chad Finn, who simply says, David Ortiz should be one of the easiest yes votes in recent Hall of Fame history.
No. God, oh 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 God.
In Pops, Keith Olbermann.
Oh, I thought you were about to say someone else.
No, not Dan O'Shaughnessy, but that's basically what this is about. The fact that Dan O'Shaughnessy, who writes for the Boston Globe, one of the 7 Boston Globe people who have a Hall of Fame vote.
Yes.
Did not vote for David Ortiz. And in fact, the only player that he did vote for was Jeff Kent.
Yep.
Who has very similar stats to David Ortiz. His WAR is like 0.2 more. His batting average is .004 higher. But David Ortiz has 200 more career home runs.
Yeah.
I know which one I'd take. And let's another note
his
on that.
His name might rhyme with Rapid Puppies. It still doesn't work no matter how hard I try and make it work.
No, it does not. Rabid Puppies.
Yeah, there we go.
No. Keith Olbermann says, if you ignore the PEDs, so we have to address each one of these individually. David Ortiz, I think he was named in a report tied to PEDs.
Back in like 2004, yes.
Yeah, a long time ago, and it was
but
never
it was
mentioned
never
what it was.
what he took.
Yeah, and then what? Something
And
else.
that was the only test he ever possibly failed.
Right. Yes, and it wasn't even really a test. He was just implicated.
Yes.
Yeah, because you can't test for something and nobody knows what it is. No. Yeah, never failed a test the rest of his career. So I don't want to hear it about PEDs. Then Keith Olbermann says, and the war below Johnny Damon and John Olerud. Okay. Well, he was okay. So David Ortiz, if he would have been in the field, would have been a defensive liability. We all know that.
Yeah.
Jeff Kent, on the other hand, was in the field and was a defensive liability.
Also, yeah.
Come on. Come on. And what? We're going to keep someone out of the Hall of Fame because of war? Get out. And the All-Star appearances equaling Elston Howard, who I don't even know who that is. We're talking about All-Star appearances when we're trying to get into the Hall of Fame now? Like, it's just insane. Keith then says, and wraps up, he just wasn't as good as Boston thinks. Neither one of us are Boston fans. And guess what? We think he's great. And David Ortiz hurt me in one of the worst ways possible with that grand slam in 2013.
He hurt Cleveland a lot of times.
In the ALCS, yeah. Good God.
Sarge, I've just been too lazy to shave the past few days.
Oh, so what the fuck is on Austin's face?
Yeah, I've just been too lazy to shave the past, 3 days. So...
I've been too lazy to shave the last month, but then again, I don't grow facial hair all that fast, so that's not all that bad. So we'll move on from Keith Olbermann. Oh, God.
I like Keith Olbermann, too. He usually isn't bad.
He's been increasingly stupid as of late, I think.
Yeah.
Like, it's getting interesting.
Following the trend of the internet.
Pretty much.
In general.
The Red Wings played the San Jose Sharks a couple nights ago.
Was this the game that was, really bad?
Bad in what way? Like a bad loss?
One shot on goal in the first period, bad?
No, I think that was a game prior.
Oh, okay.
It might have been. I don't remember. Because I was so distracted by the rest of what was going on with this game.
Oh, God. Continue.
This game was on ESPN Plus. Which means we got Leah Hextall as the play-by-play announcer. And look, I
know what this is.
I am all for women in broadcasting. I think Daniela Bruce, who's been replacing Paul Woods on the radio broadcast, which I've been turning to every time the Red Wings play on ESPN Plus. I think Daniela Bruce does a great job. Because she actually knows what's going on. Let me give you just the examples that I was able to point out in this broadcast of Leah having no clue what's happening and who's playing. So, first off, she at one point said that this game was against the Detroit Red Wings against the San Ho Sharks.
Okay.
The San Ho Sharks. Are you aware of who Darren McCarty is?
Yes.
Red Wings, tough guy. Kicked Claude Lemieux's ass, made him turtle. That guy.
Yep.
That is Darren McCartney. Robbie Fabry, Red Wings winger. She referred to him multiple times during this broadcast as Ferrari.
Solid.
Now we get to the really interesting ones, because this involves 2 of the top 3 Calder candidates in the NHL right now, in Moritz Seider and Lucas Raymond.
God.
So you should really know who the hell they are.
And how to pronounce their names.
Yeah. One of these is just... All right. Lucas Raymond on this night was Mason Raymond. Mason Raymond is an NHL player, but there's a bit of a difference in that. Lucas Raymond's 19. Mason Raymond, I believe, is 38. I don't even know where Mason Raymond plays. I think it's Vancouver.
Yes.
And Moritz Seider.
No, he does not play Vancouver. He is retired.
Even better.
He retired in 2018 after playing for SC Bern in Switzerland.
And then the final one. Again, this is another Calder Trophy candidate. You can look on any betting app right now. Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider are two of the top three in the odds right now, with Trevor Zegras mixed in there, playing for Anaheim. Moritz Seider on this night was Moritz Suter. It's like, come on. And then, like, I remember her early in the year, right when the ESPN broadcast had first started, she was calling Thomas Tatar Thomas Novak. What are you doing? She's so terrible. Like, people, I kid you not, hockey fans have started to turn on Spanish commentary on games when she's there. Spanish commentary, muting it and listening to the radio. They will take the time to time up the radio commentary with the video feed if it means not listening to Leah Hextall not know who's playing anymore.
I have possibly mercifully for me not caught a game that she is calling.
Ugh.
Somehow.
And there's a clip out there. I don't remember who was playing this one. It wasn't the Red Wings. There was like a face-off, and there was like dead silence for 10 seconds. Like, she speaks in like 5-word just bits, and then there's a whole ton of silence in between. Like, it just
she reminds me of like
so much.
Aqib Talib.
At least Aqib Talib has funny moments. Or like he says something stupid that's funny.
Yeah.
But
no,
like,
you were right.
She's just terrible. But there was this one where the puck drops and there's just nothing until this dude is like 5 feet away from the net, and then she crams as many words into 2 seconds as she possibly could. Like something like, I it's not even legible. Like you can't comprehend what she's saying until she says scores, because the guy scored a goal. It's ridiculous.
I've seen that clip.
Anyway, moving on. Back to NASCAR. This stems from, so there was this controversy because the NASCAR Hall of Fame induction's coming up in a couple weeks, and
so I'm gonna stop you for 1 second.
Okay.
Is the NASCAR Hall of Fame like the WWE Hall of Fame?
No, the NASCAR Hall of Fame is an actual Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not like the WWE Hall of Fame that is just invisible, imaginary. No, it's not like that.
Okay.
It is relatively new. It's only been around 10, 12 years.
Okay.
But it does exist.
Perfect. That's a start.
Yeah, so they're doing the inductions for the Hall of Famers in a couple weeks. And one of the drivers that is being inducted into the Hall of Fame is NASCAR Modifieds legend. Dude won like 9 championships in the Modified division. Mike Stefanik. Now, Mike Stefanik passed away a few years ago. So naturally, you would think that, someone could speak on his behalf, right? Like,
in theory, yeah.
Big deal for the family and everything. Apparently NASCAR had fudged this rule where only the inductee themselves could speak. It was a mess. It's been cleared up now. Julie Stefanik, Mike's wife, is now allowed to speak at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony if she so chooses. which yeah, really good. I mean, guys like Dale Earnhardt Jr., who's being inducted into the Hall of Fame, came out and said, like, look, this is wrong. We need to fix this. And thankfully they did. But this is in reply to one of the people that were calling for this to change. The guy just said NASCAR Hall of Fame needs to reevaluate this speech decision for Julie Stefanik. This is insane. It is. It was, I guess. And in comes at Macro Aggressor on Twitter.
Let me get my beer ready.
Maybe. Or reevaluate inducting minor leaguers into the Hall in the first place. Like, tell me you know nothing about NASCAR and the history of the sport without telling me. Like, this is ridiculous.
That's some good beer.
So,
I also pressed the button. You probably didn't catch that, though.
No, I don't hear the buttons. The modified division is as old as the Cup Series division. Back in the day, they were very equal. There was the strictly stocks, there was the modifieds. And I mean, it's kind of the modified division's kind of like faded. They've always been like a short track, small thing. And obviously the Cup Series went on to become what it is. The modified division is in no way a minor league. Like, yes, there are guys that break into the sport. Ryan Preece, for example, who's probably going to be driving the 10 car for Stewart-Haas Racing next year, has driven in the Cup Series with JTG Daugherty Racing in the past. He's a former modified champion. Mike Stefanik, though, 9 times. Like, he's the best in his division, and it's not like this is anything new. Like, we've inducted plenty of people. Like, it's not the NASCAR Cup Series Hall of Fame, it's the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Everything is included in that. So if you're and Mike Stefanik, I mean, he never had aspirations of moving up. He wanted to race the modifieds. I think he ran one Xfinity Series race once. He liked what he was doing. He was one of the best at it.
Yeah.
So to say he's a minor leaguer is just ridiculous because it's not even remotely the same. If you've ever seen a modified car, they're wild things. And lastly, this is more a stupid group of people, so I won't spend too much time on it. Any one of the Michigan State fans who last week, when Michigan and MSU was canceled or postponed, rather, not canceled as of yet.
Call it right.
Yep. Well, if you ask Spartans, it's not going to get made up. Any one of them who says that we ducked that game when we had less than 7 scholarship players on the roster. What are we supposed to do? Start 5 people and have a bench of 1, potentially less? Because we don't know how much. We don't know how many people were out of that game. We just know it was less than 7.
Yeah.
Like, and just I don't see any program that gets this more than Michigan, even though plenty of people have games that are canceled, and we can thank Kirk Herbstreit for it. Like, it's just ridiculous. But I guess I'll read this one, because this is what made me put this in here. This is from Spartan Hoops DK on Twitter. This is what he wishes Michigan would send to the MSU basketball program that took the long 50-minute drive from East Lansing to Ann Arbor. Oh, the horror. The night before, when they knew this was a possibility. and Tom Izzo knew about this early in the week and acknowledged it. So the people who say that MSU was completely blindsided by this, get out. Go home. Dear MSU, we're sorry our shitty protocol standards allowed you to travel to Ann Arbor without the courtesy of telling you the game was unlikely to go. We tested late Friday without telling you, which is, kind of the protocol.
Yeah.
Because again, we're thoughtless pricks and always have been. Sincerely, Michigan.
I saw that. like the long 45 to 50-minute drive to Ann Arbor.
And now,
No. In January, it's probably about an hour and 10. Michigan weather.
I'll concede that, but
with how shitty Michigan weather is, it's probably about like an hour and 10.
Look, we're playing Illinois tonight. Illinois is ranked. They're a pretty good team because you know what? We have more than 7 players. Barely, but we do.
Have 8.
And I believe we might have 8.
Oh, I was just making a joke. Ugh, that's rough.
I'll look that up while you're reading off your stupid people saying stupid things. I'm about here. And we're not getting our cocks kicked in as badly as I thought we would.
That's good. All I'm gonna say, Ohio State basketball looked well, like they didn't play at all in the month of December, which they played 2 games in December, and they kind of aren't doing so great right now.
We have 9 players. Oh. And the only reason we have 9, I don't even think we're scraping the bottom of the barrel for these guys. Cause Dickinson's out, Zeb Jackson's out. I don't even know who this Buffkin is. Kobe Buffkin, a freshman, averaging 4.5 points per game. He's playing tonight.
Solid. So get that points per game average up.
Right. Frankie Collins. Well, no, they're coming in off the bench.
Oh.
Frankie Collins, freshman, averaging 3.3. And then looking at the starters, Terrence Williams, who's averaging 5. Diabate's been a regular all year. Caleb Houston's been somewhat of a regular all year. Eli Brooks, obviously, he's him and Diabate are the only ones that are really supposed to be here. And yet we're hanging in there. I mean, not really. It's going to end 68-53, but honestly, it could have been way worse.
I mean, Illinois doesn't have a Io DeSumo.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but they got Kofi Coburn, bastard. Anyway, let's move on.
Alrighty, moving on to my 6 stupid people who said stupid things on the internet this weekend. First one comes from Twitter. His Twitter handle is Scarlet Great CT. This is an Ohio State fan.
I wonder if it's the Ohio State fan that I was going to put in my stupid people say stupid things, but I didn't.
I don't know. He tweeted this on Saturday after some announcements were made involving the roster or the staff changings.
Oh, then it definitely was not.
I can't remember what this one was about. This was Ohio State football, so.
The one that I saw was just somebody saying that if Ohio State had a defense, we beat Georgia.
No. No.
And
no.
Okay, well, you don't. What's the point?
Even if they had a defense, they wouldn't have beat Georgia. No.
Credit to the Ohio State fans that replied to this student. That's like, let's not do that. Just stop.
Like, no. Oh, that Ohio State offense went, no. Just no. No. Like, A, let's not do that, and B, no.
I don't think anybody's beating Georgia. I mean, I'm surprised Alabama did it the one time, but
yeah, I am too.
We'll get to the rematch in a bit.
So Scarlet Great here tweeted, Ohio State running things like the fans would. LOL. 2-loss season? ? Change the staff. So here's the best thing about this individual. His Twitter username also has, in parentheses, his first name, and then appears to be last initials, and then
oh no,
in parentheses.
Oh, what?
Knowles' season, as in
Oh,
the new Ohio State defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles.
I saw that you got what you asked for earlier in the season.
What, Kerry Coombs gone?
Kerry Coombs' ass, yeah.
Yeah, I
thought, and you would, I think, kind of change your tune on that a little bit.
a little bit, yeah. Yeah, I did.
I wasn't expecting that either. But anyway.
But you want to know why the Ohio State coaching staff was getting changed, especially on the defensive side of the ball? Because the defense was not good this year.
But if you guys had a defense, you'd beat Georgia. Remember? Damn.
And wasn't. And now I will say. Actually, and if I remember correctly, on Saturday, last Saturday, I think it was announced that former Michigan coach Al Washington was not being brought back.
Well, that's not shocking.
Kerry Coombs, Matt Barnes, Al Washington. Those three individuals were all chump of the week after. Were all my chump of the week after Ohio State lost to Michigan, because those three, Al Washington, the linebackers coach, Kerry Coombs, and Matt Barnes, co-defensive coordinators and defensive backs coaches, just terrible. Ohio State has the players. They have no coaches.
You can't stop Cade McNamara unless you're Georgia.
They have
and MSU.
Zero coaching ability. And honestly, I used to love Kerry Coombs. I'm going to say this now. Phenomenal recruiter, but in the age of name, image, likeness, I don't really think you need that.
No, that's kind of how I felt. Michigan just poached a defensive line coach from Notre Dame, who is known as one of the best recruiters in the country as well. And it's just like, yeah, that's great, but it doesn't mean as much as it did anymore.
No. And I do hope Kerry Coombs does. I hope he has success somewhere, but it's just.
Yeah, he'll go somewhere.
He was a decent defensive backs coach under Urban Meyer. He was friends with Ryan Day. That's why Ryan Day brought him back after Coombs went to the NFL. He did not succeed. Kerry Coombs did not succeed in the NFL. I don't even remember where he went. Let's find out.
I'm gonna guess
Tennessee.
Back when Tennessee didn't have a really good defense.
Yeah, he was the defensive backs coach.
When that was their problem, Tennessee's entire problem was their defense.
Yeah, and he didn't do because he was with Mike Vrabel, and
right.
In 2019, the defensive backs for the Tennessee Titans were a top 10 passing defense. It's just something at Ohio State just didn't work. It didn't work in 2020 when Ryan Day brought him back. It didn't work this year.
Apparently not.
Especially in terms of pass defense. It just didn't work.
I said you can't stop Cade McNamara.
We stopped a lot of other guys that were better quarterbacks somehow.
I know. Oh, man.
Let's move on.
Cade wasn't he wasn't a huge factor in that game. But
no.
Solid enough. Other than interception that still doesn't make sense to me.
It's one of the worst defensive backs on Ohio State's roster, too.
I mean, it was snowing. Y'all were wearing what? He blended in with the snow, right?
Sure.
Sure, right? God damn.
Ah, boy. Moving on. The next one comes.
If that was your first, I'm afraid of the next.
The rest of them aren't going to be too bad. We're going to go through them quick. But this next one's definitely not good. On Saturday, it was announced that Ohio State got their defensive lineman that they want in terms of recruiting, and Hiro Kanu out of Germany.
What a name.
Hiro Kanu, by the way, looks like a large, scary man.
Michigan could use more of those.
Fitting because he is a rather large, scary man, too. Individual on Facebook replied to a comment from someone who was happy that Ohio State got Hiro Kanu.
Oh boy.
Michael, and then last name will be left unknown. Next, you will be polling for Oktoberfest to be moved to the parking lot and pull the band at halftime so we could do the polka.
What the fuck?
Just so completely just unrelated to the occurrence of football. And you're like, I had to reread this like 6 times because I thought I was having a fucking stroke.
What? The hell is that?
Actually, let me do you an even better favor, and let me read this to you how it's actually typed.
Oh boy.
Next, you will polling for October Feast. Move to the parking lot. Pull the band at halftime so we can polka. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Is this Horace's Ohio State account?
I hope. But this is on Facebook, not Twitter.
I know. Hey, maybe it's the real Horace. Maybe the real Horace is an Ohio State fan.
I fucking hope so. Please.
He just forgot to stop being in character.
Right.
God. The hell is that?
It was so nuts. Like, I had to read it like 5 times. Let's move on.
Jesus. Yes. Get out of here.
Only getting worse.
Oh, no.
This one also from Facebook. This one about the national title. We're still on Saturday, by the way. Last Saturday.
Oh, these are in order.
Yep. Jason on Facebook replied to a comment about the national title being played on Monday. Bedtime is more like it. By the time the talking heads get done with the hype, it's an 8:20 kickoff, midnight-ish game ending, and past midnight trophy presentation. Who's staying up for all that on a work night when not only does 5 a.m. come early, those of us that live in snow country will be up earlier to clean the driveway out before work. Not a fan of prime time, and college football was always meant to be played on Saturday afternoons. Doesn't matter who's playing. Okay, now go.
I agree with one of his many points, and that is I do wish that game was played on Saturday, but still at night. Like, what do we need a noon game for? Because Monday does feel a little irrelevant, but that noon, fucking us snow country people gotta shovel our driveway.
It doesn't snow every night.
Right. It hasn't snowed much at all.
In fact, it doesn't snow so much that you have to shovel your driveway every morning either.
I've had to shovel the driveway twice in the last 3 weeks.
Probably about that.
Fuck no. Jesus.
Why do you got especially if you're a fan of a neutral team, why do you got to watch the trophy presentation?
And I'm making a point too, but that's just me. I don't have to.
I don't really watch if it's a team if I watch a game, a championship game, and I have zero rooting interest, I don't usually watch the trophy presentation.
I do, because it's the last little bit of college football that we get for a little bit. I mean, I get it's not the game itself, but I just don't want college football to go anywhere.
But oh my gosh, like reading this was just like I get why it's on a Monday. Most eyes on
I get
it.
why it is. Yeah.
Now, granted, this had the second lowest ratings, TV ratings, of a national title game in 20 years. That's what happens when you have Alabama and Georgia playing each other.
Right. I think that had somewhat to do with the fact that it was a rematch. And even though Georgia was a slight favorite, I feel like a lot of casual people just thought, oh, Alabama's just going to win again.
Wait. Monday night game, national title games usually bring in good ratings on Mondays. This year, I mean, it still had 16, 17 million people watching it.
Which is still, I mean, crazy. That's still a lot.
Yeah. Let's keep rolling. This next one. I did not know this man existed until Jordan showed me that this man existed.
Oh, no.
I want to go back in time to when I did not know this man existed.
They, us, Detroit sports fans, unfortunately for the last couple years, have indeed known this man existed. It's not a good time. I wish he didn't have a buddy that gave him a radio show too.
Yeah. And I even on Twitter, a tweet that I saw because of you on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I replied, I was like, a friend of mine showed me this. I'm not a fan of Detroit sports, but this guy sucks. As well, he sucks.
He's so bad.
Rico Beard.
Well, Rico.
Made it, and we'll talk about him later.
Oh, no.
Spoiler, he's my chump of the week.
Oh, no. I mean, a very fitting one.
Because of what he did on Monday. That also lands him in Stupid People Say Stupid Things.
Christ.
So on Monday, the show he's on with Mike Valeni on
97 won the ticket.
97 won the ticket, thank you. Again, I would not have known this existed had Jordan not shown me.
I wouldn't have known it. I mean, I wasn't listening to it live. I had just heard about it because I saw Rico, the guy involved in this that's not Rico, tweeted Rico, and Rico was just like, well, now you're blocked too.
Oh, that's exactly what my stupid person is. What this entry is. Oh my gosh.
Oh, not even what he did. Just
no,
that.
No. What he did is gonna make Trump of the week.
Oh, okay. We'll save that.
Yeah. An individual named Eric, who is not the stupid person, called into the show with Mike Valeni and Rico Beard and said some things about what happened what Rico Beard did on the show, and was like, it was basically like, go on, what was that all about? And Rico Beard,
I believe they were what led to this caller coming in was people trying to find good things about the Lions season, positive things about the Lions season, and that show just wants no part of it because it's like, oh, LOL, you won 3 games. Okay. And look, if Barry Sanders can find positives in the season, guess what? That's good enough for me.
Is it Rico Beard that doesn't want positives, or is it just both him and Valeni? It's
both. Mike hates the Lions, and the Lions hate him.
So he's not even a Lions fan.
He's a Giants fan.
Yeah, I don't know why he...
Well, the Lions did try to get Mike fired.
Nice.
Because Mike has never been positive about the Lions, and rightfully so for the most part. And the people who were in charge of public relations at the time would call 97.1 segment by segment and complain about Mike, to the point that they actually left. They were on, their games were on 97.1 for a long time. They left because of Mike Valeni. Actually, well, the station said, look, you can leave because we're not firing him.
Nice.
Yeah.
But this individual, the end of Eric, tweeted Rico and was like, dude, what the hell was that about? Why couldn't I say what I wanted to say? And Rico Beards replies, and on top of that, I have now blocked you also. Hashtag kick rocks.
What a bitter old man.
Like, we'll talk about what
God.
Rico Beard did when I get to Chump of the
God.
Week.
It is the most, like, that set the radio back. So, like, who wants to call into that show now? Other than Michigan State Spartan fans.
And just the fact that Rico Beard is acting like he did some, like he's being the bigger man here.
Right.
Like, dude, you're a fucking idiot. I hope this somehow gets to Rico Beard. And he blocks me on Twitter, too, because guess who wouldn't be crying?
Right. I feel like it's only a matter of time before I get blocked by Rico.
Right.
You know, he'll quote tweet me, and all of his Spartan slappies will, you know, attack me for everything and whatever. So be it.
I hope eventually something that leads that, and his Spartan all his Spartan fans that suck his dick.
I mean, literally, there is nobody that enjoys Rico. Like, even as a Michigan fan, but both Mike and Rico are Spartan fans. I can tolerate Mike because Mike's at least right sometimes. Rico just does, like, he's Colin Cowherd.
Yeah.
He's Skip Bayless. He says things to get people riled up. That's all he does.
Moving on, because we're going to talk about Rico later in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, I have one Mr. Large Elephants.
Oh, yeah. I feel bad for Horace, man.
After the national title, Horace tweeted this: "Don't matter because it ain't count. We won the sectional gate back, so meant we was nap chanting and Georgie was the meat ticklers that held straws."
You know,
hashtag Roll Tide.
Give Horace some credit here. He at least keeps his ridiculous names that he calls these teams in check. Like, Georgia is always Georgie. Pants State.
I love that one. I'm going to use that forever.
I mean, Horace has blessed our lives, man.
Like, he's the best follow on Twitter.
It is so funny because, like, I've just noticed that all of Horace's tweets now, like, they get more and more likes as time goes on because people know the gimmick now. And it's just, but there's still the people that come in. What did you say? That's Bama education for you. God.
Oh, I love it. And finally, to wrap up this segment and get onto the show, this also comes from Twitter. Twitter user Nick, first name.
Oh, boy.
Nick, his first name is Nick. He has his last name here. I won't say. His Twitter handle is @N, last name, bunch of numbers.
Bunch of numbers, man.
And he replied to something about a guy we slightly mentioned in Jordan. Stupid people say stupid things.
Uh-oh.
Nick replied with this: "The best and most famous Boston reporter, Dan Shaughnessy, didn't even vote for Big Sloppy.
I saw that.
What does that show everyone?"
The Dan O'Shaughnessy is terrible?
I wouldn't even call him the best or most famous. I think I shared this with you too.
Maybe that's where I saw it. I don't know. I wouldn't say he's the most famous Boston reporter. Who's the guy on Around the Horn for Boston?
Oh God, what is his name?
I don't remember.
It's been so long since I've watched that show, but I know who you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that guy. I would say he's more famous.
Yeah, he gets on nationally syndicated TV every once in a while.
Yeah, debunked already.
Yeah, that's it.
David Sloppy. What the fuck? Like,
No,
this guy just
the Big Sloppy.
Oh, the Big Sloppy. So, like, he's got to be a Yankee fan.
Yep, he is.
Doing what Of course, doing what Ravens fans were trying to do to me when I was praising TJ Watt. Those people could have been in here as well, but I muted that conversation. I wanted no more part of it.
I've just chose to ignore it because Ravens fans are mad that Jamar Chase broke the single season rookie reception record, or receiving yards record, something.
Why? I mean, other than I get like rivals, it's not like a Raven held that record previously.
No, who was it? Justin Jefferson, I think.
That sounds accurate.
Yeah, I believe so. Even though Jamar Chase did it in 16 games.
Yeah.
Oh, but it happened in week 17. Okay. In 16 games, though. Because week 17 is the 16th game of the season. Because of because of bye weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, no, Ravens fans were like all up in arms about that too.
They are a very butthurt group these days.
Especially when their team's fucking terrible.
I mean, as to say, I guess I get why they're mad, because they expected to be Super Bowl contenders and they didn't even make the playoffs. So
sitting at home.
Yikes. Let's
move on to the news.
Oh, the news.
Starting off, some NFL Black Monday recap. I almost said Black Friday. Head coach of the Denver Broncos, Vic Fangio, has been fired after 3 seasons, going 19-30. For those of you at home that aren't good at math, like me, Jordan has that number here. Winning percentage is .388. Ouch.
Yeah. I can't say Denver being bad is all on Vic Fangio.
No.
He probably isn't the guy, for the future. So I get this move, but Denver's needed to rebuild for the last 2 years. They don't know who their quarterback is. They got plenty of problems, and Vic Fangio was definitely not the top problem, but he wasn't really helping them.
Yeah. Let's move on. This one for Vince. I know he was a happy guy on Monday when this was announced. The Chicago Bears fired general manager Ryan Pace and head coach Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy went 34-31, so a .523 winning percentage, and had a 0-2 playoff record. Long time coming because the Bears just kind of kept getting worse.
It was, I don't know why they didn't just do it in season. I guess they thought they had an outside shot. I don't know. It always seemed like it was going to be this way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. For the Bears, you better hope that doesn't turn into a Matt Patricia or a Jim Caldwell situation with the Lions, because Jim Caldwell had a winning record with Detroit too, very similar to this, right around 500, and they let him go, and out he went. And then we got Matt Patricia, who won 6 games.
Yeah.
So what's funny about that is that I saw somebody Photoshop Matt Patricia into a Bears gear.
God.
I don't know. There's a Bears fan out there that wants Matt Patricia on their team.
Why?
I don't know, but literally the reasons are right there in front of you. Bears fans saw that in the division. They saw how terrible Matt Patricia was. So I don't know why any one of them would want him. But I think the Bears are one of the more intriguing openings for sure.
Yeah. Franchise quarterback and
right. You got Justin Fields. You're not the bottom of the barrel.
Not the Jags.
You're not the Jags. This is true.
Not the Texans with all their dysfunction. Not the Giants.
Oh, we'll get to the Texans.
Yep. Moving on. The Minnesota Vikings fired general manager Rick Spielman and head coach Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer's record, I was a Mike Zimmer fan. He coached at Cincinnati for a while under Marvin Lewis. And he did a solid job at Minnesota. Zimmer's record in 7 seasons was 74, 59, and 1 for a 556 win percentage, including a 2-3 playoff record. This one just questionable. This is the Zimmer firing.
It very well could be questionable. Like, the Vikings are just kind of that middle of the pack team, and I think they just want to change right now, would be my assumption.
Yeah,
but he did a lot for Minnesota, so that one is really surprising. And I mean, with the Bears getting rid of Nagy, I mean, they should get better. I mean, the Vikings getting rid of Zimmer, I don't know if they're going to get better. I think they probably get worse.
In theory.
So, like, I don't know. That this division, it wasn't good this year. It could be even worse next year.
Distinctly possible.
Lions might not finish last.
Also distinctly possible, depending on how things go in the offseason for him. Moving on in what is honestly, in my opinion, the most questionable firing in the aftermath of the NFL regular season. Miami Dolphins fire head coach Brian Flores. Flores finished his tenure with a 24-25 record. In the year 2021, the Dolphins started 1-7, but they won 7 straight and 8 of the last 9 as a head coach, including a win on Sunday against the Patriots. And who are you gonna go get?
So I don't know.
Like,
I really don't know. Like, I haven't seen any rumors of who they want.
We know one thing. We know what they don't want. We know who they don't want.
We know it's not Jim Harbaugh.
Because of Stephen Ross coming out and saying, I don't want Jim Harbaugh. He's a good coach.
Yep.
Literally what he said.
And of course, Stephen Ross, we know this. I don't know if everyone does. Noted UM alum. One of the biggest donors.
No, not one of the biggest donors. The biggest
donor.
The biggest donor in university history. And I do believe a good chunk of it does go to the athletic program.
Oh, it does. Namesake of the Ross School of Business.
I thought that was for Rick Ross.
No, Bob Ross.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's
I
like
don't get this.
The reported reason behind it to me is that Stephen Ross is just apparently incredibly committed to Tua because, like, apparently Flores and Tua had some sort of problem for some reason. I guess allegedly he told Tua that he would have rather had Mac Jones. I don't know.
So I've seen a couple of things.
Doesn't make any sense.
I've seen some.
Like, he is not going to be without a job for very long.
No.
One of these teams, because there's these 5, and then the Jags, and then presumptively the Raiders, unless they keep what's his name?
Yeah.
the interim guy.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, hey, got him to the
their
playoffs,
special teams coach.
Yeah. With a very bizarre name. Yeah, no, he's gonna be picked up by somebody. I mean, his name's already tied to another team that we'll get to here in a second. I mean, any one of these teams with coaching openings would probably love to have him.
I've heard 2 things. A, it was Flores and Tua didn't get along, and then the other was that Flores and the general manager did not get along.
I mean, that could be the case as well.
But I just
and it could tie into the Tua stuff. If Flores wasn't sold on Tua, I don't know. I don't like firing a head coach for stuff like this.
Especially like, and I want to pull this up real quick because I was looking at this. I was talking to someone else about this. The Dolphins. Let me pull it up just for a second. I don't want to lurk on this too long, but. So the Dolphins lost 7 in a row early in the season. They still finished 1 spot out of the playoffs, losing 7 straight.
And I get they beat mostly cupcakes on that winning streak, but
still 7 straight.
They They beat the Patriots twice.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, what? The Jets, probably twice in that winning streak, maybe. I think the Jags, the Texans were in there.
Nope, they lost to the Jags. The Jags were their losing streak.
Oh, I forgot about that.
In London.
God. Oh, yeah. Oh, that game, yes.
I mean, they beat the Ravens.
Yeah. I mean, the Ravens fell off a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, had they managed to beat any team in that losing streak, had they beat the Raiders in that game, and that second game of that losing streak, they're in the playoffs. Had they beat the Falcons in the playoffs, had they beat the Jags in the playoffs, like,
Jags just spoiling playoff dreams.
I just don't understand why you're firing a guy who one spot out of the playoffs. Let's move on, though.
It's something that I think they might regret for sure.
I do too. Because again, who are you gonna go get?
I mean,
that's better.
They're probably gonna take a shot at some coordinator. You know, we'll see. But I do not see Brian Flores not having a head coaching job by the start of the next season. I really don't. Like he's probably the number one candidate for a lot of these teams. Maybe not the number one. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people like want Jim Harbaugh or something over him or something, but I don't know.
Even then, yeah, I don't know. Let's move on. The Giants, the New York Football Giants. Dave Gettleman was allowed to retire. They couldn't. The Giants couldn't do that right.
Right. The GM of the worst team in football in the last 5 years, and you give him the courtesy to retire.
During Gettleman's tenure, the Giants had a 19-46 record.
Pitiful, man.
One of the worst in the NFL.
The move that sums up the tenure of Dave Gettleman for me is literally when they still had Odell Beckham. And you're looking at the situation, and you're like, okay, you either got to extend him, or you have to trade him. But you can't do both.
And they did both.
What did Dave Gettleman do? He did both. He did both. Like, it makes zero sense. Like, everything he did, like, his free agents that he signed didn't pan out. I mean, Kenny Golladay was the number one wide receiver with the Lions last year. And what did he go out and do? Not score a touchdown in 2021.
Yeah.
Like, good Lord. Drafts, I think Daniel Jones trade that was during his tenure when they traded up to get Daniel Jones.
Yep.
That ain't panning out. Like,
Saquon Barkley was the only thing he did right. Which
was a can't miss.
Yeah. And they can't put an offensive line around Saquon Barkley.
Oh my God. His offensive line signings have been some of the worst. Like, I don't remember which of the Patriots linemen from a few years back that he took from them. And he came and played for the Giants and then turned into, like, he was a stud for New England. And then the Giants turned him into one of the worst offensive linemen in the NFL. Like, you can't make it up. Terrible.
I'm honestly, I'm surprised that Riley Reef didn't somehow end up on the Giants from the Bengals. I mean, I know the Bengals still have him on the roster, but still.
I mean, yeah, they probably would have paid him $5 million a year or something.
Also, head coach Joe Judge was fired a day after Gettleman retired. Judge had a 10-23 record in 2 seasons. That was a .303 win percentage.
The quarterback sneak
on 3rd and 9.
On 3rd down and 9 is the worst play I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I told you this. I think it's worse than the Colts' fake punt against New England, the previous worst play in NFL history. Because that, thanks to Pat McAfee, we know what they were trying to do. This is waving the white flag. We're like, hey, we're giving up on this drive. We're backed up. We don't even want to try. Like, if you're calling that, like, I wish that the players on the field would have just went rogue and said, we ain't doing this, instead of, like, they are now embroiled in NFL history with that play. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. And I said, because it was reported before, that Joe Judge was likely safe. Like, he wasn't going anywhere. And then as the weeks, went on, Joe Judge was still incompetent. It was like, it's a little bit more likely, but they're probably still going to keep him. And then after that game, it got to like, I think he might go. And then he didn't go on Monday. And I was like, the Giants, fucking stupid. And, well, then they did it the next day. I don't know why they didn't do it Monday. I don't know why they didn't do it after the Week 18 game.
Yeah, they should have done it Sunday afternoon after they should have done it during that play. They should have Brett Bielema'd him.
Like, literally, like,
for anyone who doesn't get that reference, Brett Bielema was fired mid-game when he was in Arkansas. Fire
him either during the game or after the game, and then make him Antonio Brown his way home. Like, that's the treatment that Joe Judge deserves.
We got two phenomenal references in on that segment right there.
God.
Yes. Brett Bielema, who will forever be a joke, and then the Antonio Brown situation. Oh my gosh, we got two phenomenal references in there. And Houston, we have problems still.
This is didn't complete this one. Let me look up his record.
Okay.
The only reason I want to look up his record is for the win percentage.
The Houston Texans fired head coach David Culley after one season. The Texans are looking into trying to get Brian Flores. That's it.
I mean, so is everyone else.
Yeah, like, I don't understand why you give David Culley such a... Like, you didn't even give him a short leash. You gave him literally zero leash.
Like, what is he supposed to do? Like, I feel like for the Texans, winning 4 games about their ceiling. The record for David Culley in his lone season as head coach, 4-13, a .235 win percentage. But what's he got to work with? Outside of Davis Mills, who we didn't even know was going to be decent. Like, goodness. What are we doing here? Like maybe they're looking for somebody younger? I don't know. It made no sense to me.
I've said it all year, and some people, you have disagreed with me a little bit. You've said the Jags are worse. I think the Texans are the most dysfunctional team in football right now.
I mean, I think I'm to the point where I might admit it's at least a tie.
That could be fair.
Well, and to be fair, the Giants as well. I think the Giants are the most dysfunctional organization from top to bottom in the NFL. The Jags and Texans worse in terms of roster-wise.
Yeah, I guess.
That would be where I'm at with that. But, yeah, it's just like, why'd you even hire the guy? Like, why'd you even hire David Culley?
Yeah, what's the point?
Like, it's bizarre. Of course, this move meant that there was only one active black NFL head coach. Of course, Mike Tomlin at Pittsburgh. That is not going to be the case for very long.
Oh.
Because, I mean, look,
yeah. Brian Flores, yeah.
Brian Flores is going to get a job. Gerard Mayo's in the running for a job. People might still look at Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah.
Like, I think that changes. It's obviously going to change. Because Brian, I would bet on it right now that Brian Flores is going to be in one of these head coach openings.
Yes.
Like, he's a solid coach. So
I want to throw in one last thing. I know this is not in the news. Revolving Black Monday, NFL's Black Monday. I just have to throw this in here because it's comical. The Jacksonville Jaguars are currently looking at Bill O'Brien as their potential head coach.
You know, that's not as bad as it seems. Because I will say this about Bill O'Brien. He is a good coach, but do not. I mean, okay, I won't say good. He's decent enough. Coach, fine. He probably is one of the 32 best coaches for an NFL job. Probably. Do not give him the keys to the kingdom and make him the general manager like Houston did.
God, yeah, that'd be so bad.
That's where Houston went wrong. Because he had no clue what he was doing.
And he cannot be a play caller. I think the because he was the offensive coordinator and play caller for the Alabama Crimson Tide this year, and from what we saw Saturday or Monday night, and not just in the national title game.
Various points throughout Alabama's season, really.
Yeah, the Alabama offense looked not good this year at points.
For Alabama standards.
Especially for Alabama standards, their offense just did not, and it just at points. And
Bill O'Brien, huh?
Then you have Bill O'Brien, who one of Alabama's final offensive drives, needs a first down, has all 3 timeouts. You need 10 yards to get a first down.
What I've heard, yeah.
They're throwing 20, 25-yard passes down the field. You have 3 timeouts. Just get the fucking first down. Call a play that will move the ball down. Get a first down. And then he goes out, 2 minutes left. He calls a run play. Like, Bill O'Brien just, at points, is brain dead. I just wanted to throw that out there because I saw that pop up across on my Twitter feed yesterday. Let's move on, though. Jordan got muted. This is awkward because this next piece of news is relevant to only him. Jordan? I guess I'll say it because we're just sitting here with dead air. The Detroit Red Wings announced that Nicholas Lidstrom has been named the Detroit Red Wings Vice President of Hockey Operations. Is Jordan back? No, he is not. This is really awkward because I don't know a lot. I don't have a lot to put in here. But I don't think it's it's not a bad idea. I think bringing Lidstrom in to the organization. Hi, welcome back.
Somebody's knocking on my door. Somebody's fucking lost.
Oh.
Interesting. But yes, anyway, we're talking about Nick Lidstrom?
Yes.
Hell yeah, man. Steve Yzerman is a genius. Like, he is assembling some of the greatest NHL talents to be in this front office. Like, it's insane. Like, what, we're gonna go get Henrik Zetterberg next? Like, just all these club legends coming in with like incredible hockey minds. Like, is that what we're doing?
It wouldn't hurt.
I mean, we are. Our front office is already incredible. I think so. Like the Yzerman, I don't think he's made one move that has upset the fans, other than not just straight up getting rid of Danny DeKeyser. Like, that's about it. But what's he supposed to do? You just have dead cap. We understand why he's doing it. Yzerman's a genius. In fact, I tweeted the other day. I was like, I wouldn't be surprised, rather, if Yzerman called up a team and found somebody dumb enough to give us a third-round pick for Danny DeKeyser. Like, every trade he makes,
He probably could do it.
Every trade he makes is just like, wait, they gave up that for this?
In fact, I've seen him. I've seen him do it in Tampa.
Yeah, like, I don't get why opposing GMs even answer Steve Yzerman's calls anymore. I don't get why they do it.
They should. Everybody should block him. Everybody,
literally,
because they're gonna lose.
But Nick Lidstrom coming back and being with the organization, good stuff.
It only helped the team.
I mean, that's why I say go and get Zetterberg, because then we can have our last three captains prior to Dylan Larkin in the front office. Like, come on, do it. Why not? Shall we talk about potato chips?
Yes.
Have you read this yet?
I am reading it as we speak.
I want you to finish that first. Just first ever potato chip appearance by potato chips in the news.
Take it away.
So no, it is not April Fool's Day.
No, it is January 14th.
It is indeed. Lay's has partnered with the NFL to create the Lay's Golden Browns sweepstakes. What can you win in said sweepstakes, you might ask? Well,
what can you win?
You can win bags of potato chips made by Lay's that are made with potatoes that are grown in the soil from each NFL team's field.
Except 3.
Yeah, except 3. Which I'll get to in a second.
Except 3. One of which is extremely comical.
Well, 2 of them are honestly comical. The other one's just interesting and very specific for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they took dirt from these NFL stadiums, they took it out to their farms, they mixed it in with the rest of their dirt, and put a flag in the ground where they were growing these potatoes with the team, so they knew this, so they wouldn't mix them up. And then they backed them up, and people are gonna win. They're gonna win potato chips grown in NFL dirt. But I seem to be the only one asking this question, because the replies are obviously filled with people using the hashtag so they can win it, whatever. There might be some people that are asking this question, and I just couldn't find them. How exactly do you do this for teams with artificial grass? Are these potatoes being grown in ground-up tires? Or did they just go outside the stadium and just dig up some dirt?
So 16, so half of the NFL plays on artificial turf.
Yeah, no, there's a lot. That's what made me question it.
So, yeah.
Like, if I entered the sweepstakes and I was trying to win a bag of Lions potato chips, I'm like, what are they being grown in?
I don't know if I want to know.
I tweeted at Lays. I should DM them and see if they respond because I couldn't find it on the site. I was just so confused by this because I was looking through the teams and I was like, oh, there's no way they got teamed. Like, there's probably every team with artificial grass is probably excluded from this. I'm looking through that, I'm like, well, there's a Lions bag. I'm like, Lions play on artificial turf. I'm like, what are we doing? What is this? 3 teams, as aforementioned, are excluded from this.
2 of which are really comical.
So, of course, we have the Bengals.
Which makes it's just...
Right, of course, right?
Of course. I mean, hey, we made the playoffs. That's all I care about.
There you go.
We even though at the beginning of the season I wanted them to tank and go 0-17, we somehow did it.
Who cares? Who cares about potato chips when you're in the damn playoffs, right?
Yeah.
And then
But I am gonna note. Bengals do play on artificial turf.
Yes, they do.
So it makes sense.
The other 2 teams, however, the Browns and the Broncos, play on real grass.
They must be sponsored, but those teams must be sponsored by Ruffles.
Maybe.
That's all I got.
I don't know. So you know I actually retweeted something about this, and without realizing it was a whole NFL promotion. Take a guess as to what team I first saw.
The Rams.
No.
The Giants.
No, it's gonna be so perfect.
Jags.
Nope.
Was it a team good or it wasn't the Lions?
It was not the Lions, no. Because I was surprised when I found a Lions bag.
Not the Browns.
Nope.
Or the Broncos.
Nope.
Packers.
It was not.
Bears.
Would you like me to? No, not the Bears either. I will save you the struggle.
Okay.
You're gonna lose it.
Or God, if you say Baltimore Ravens.
No. What? Washington football team. Of course, because of the Redskin potato joke.
Yes.
I thought it was a football team thing. I really thought that it was a partnership between Lay's and the football team. And so I retweeted that. I was just like, you can't make up these jokes, man. And then of course like the playing field for the football team is just so notoriously bad. Like it's ate up like 7 ACLs in the last few years.
Yep.
And everyone's like, don't eat that, you're gonna tear your ACL.
That's just so perfect that that's the first one you see.
Literally, so then I looked, after I saw the promotion, I looked on the Lions Twitter, and they had nothing about it, but the football team was sharing the hell out of it, and got roasted for it, appropriately so.
Move on.
No, one last question. If you were to win a bag of these chips, do you eat them? Or do you just, like, keep them? What do you do? Like, because I would imagine there's not many of each bag, of each team.
I feel like the bags aren't going to have value. No one's going to fucking care.
I mean, you'd be surprised. You'd be very surprised. Depends on how limited they are.
I guess.
Like,
I guess.
People spend however much money on those Bud Light cans, empty cans, with their NFL team on them. Like, shit's anything can be a collector's item these days, even fucking bag of potato chips. You never know. Now we can move on.
The Baltimore Orioles are altering Camden Yards, the dimensions of Camden Yards, to reduce the stadium's propensity for home runs. They will be moving portions of the wall up to 30 feet from the foul pole to left center, as well as raising the wall from 7 feet to 12 feet. Camden Yards saw the most home runs in all of the MLB in 2021. Majority of those home runs were not coming from the Baltimore Orioles, though. Most likely.
Nope. I would be willing to bet that it was not. Yeah. Interesting. First alteration made to Camden Yards. Of course, basically a historic stadium at this point. One of the good ones.
Yep.
Really the stadium that first brought us out of the cookie cutter stadium architecture and brought back the kind of retro classic stuff. So, thank you, Camden Yards, for that. But yeah, I mean, it's like, I believe the distance down the left field line was 330 feet before.
That sounds right.
Which is interesting. So I don't know how much farther back they're going to move it. That'll be interesting to see. But I mean, it's still not going to be. They say and they made it clear. They were like, it's still going to be a pitcher's park. So.
The hitter's park?
Oh, yeah, sorry, hitter's park. Yeah, no, they're like, it's still going to be that, but it will be less of it, essentially.
I guess.
I
don't hate it. I'm so indifferent to it. The Orioles are one of those teams that they're just so bad right now. It's like the Pirates. Anything the Pirates do, I'm so fucking indifferent to it.
They, I mean, so the Tigers back in the day, when we were dog shit, before we were dog shit now, right a couple years after Comerica opened, because that park was so ridiculously deep, nobody could hit home runs. So, do you know where the bullpens are in Comerica Park right now, out there in left field?
I've seen them.
So, obviously, you see that the wall we have now, and then the bullpens in between, and then the wall on the other side of the bullpens.
Yes.
The wall on the other side of the bullpens used to be how deep that park was.
I think I did know that. I do believe I did know that.
The bullpens used to be in right field. There was like a hole cut out in the stands, and they were in there.
Back where the bleachers are?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is where the bleachers are. Huh. That part I did not know.
Yeah, that wall didn't move, but yeah, where there are now bleachers is just a hole, and that's where the bullpens were. Because that park was ridiculously deep. I mean, it still is. It's huge. That's a pitcher's park for sure, but I mean, you don't hear about many alterations to ballparks these days. Last one I can remember is Houston, when they took that hill out of center field.
Stupid fucking mound.
I mean, I kind of liked it because it was quirky, but I mean, it was a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah.
And I think, so, where the wall was when they still had the hill, to dead center was as deep as Comerica Park center field is still today.
That sounds right.
That. Yeah, I believe it was 420 feet both ways. So, yeah, that's crazy deep. They moved that in a lot. But I do kind of miss the hill. But yeah, I think that's the last ballpark stadium renovation that I can think of. Or not renovation, but alteration.
That sounds right. You want to take this bit of NASCAR news and then we can move on?
We got a little bit here. This first one kind of shocked me. And that's that Aric Almirola is going to be retiring after 2022. The reasoning, he just wants to spend more time with his family. So, respect to that.
Good for him.
8 wins across NASCAR's top 3 series. He's got 3 in the Cup Series. Won a race last year, I do believe. And the replacement for Almirola at season's end is pretty much, I think, set in stone already. Given that they had hired Ryan Preece to be a reserve driver for this season, I mean, it seems like he's brought on to do that just so nobody else can get him. I mean, that would be my assumption.
That would make sense.
So, I mean, and good for Ryan Preece. He does deserve a good Cup ride. He's been pretty good everywhere he's been. I mean, I think he's honestly an upgrade over Aric Almirola, but you know, Eric's done what he could do. Fair enough to him. There's been so many funny memes because for a while Almirola just kind of bounced around. Like he was once a reserve driver for Jimmy Johnson. So like he was a reserve driver for plenty of people. I believe his first Xfinity Series win came when his win in quotations, air quotes, he started the race as a reserve driver. Denny Hamlin was across the country qualifying at a different track, and then his helicopter couldn't find a place to land, so they had to have Eric start the car and then race the first 30 laps, and then they took him out. took him out of the car, and Denny Hamlin drove it to the win, but in NASCAR, and I don't know about other series, it's who starts the car.
Yeah.
So Eric Almirola's first win, he was so pissed he'd already left the track. So
I don't blame him.
Yeah, but no, there's so many funny pictures that people are sharing of him in like uniforms that just like make no sense. Like he's in a DuPont Jeff Gordon uniform, a Lowe's Jimmy Johnson suit, a Budweiser Dale Jr. suit. Wild stuff, but yeah, good, good solid career for Eric Almirola. Nothing spectacular, but you win any race in NASCAR and you win in, I don't think he ever won a truck race, but he might have. But you win in any of the top 3 divisions, you more successful in series than any of us will ever be. So
yeah,
good on you. With the testing that's been happening at Daytona this week, we've seen a few of the paint schemes. Plenty of them are coming out now for this next season, of course, featuring that new number placement that's going to apparently wreck all the cars, according to that person on Facebook. Now, I was never a big fan of this. I understand why they wanted to do it. Gives more sponsor space and everything like that.
Makes more money.
Like, yeah, in theory. Some of the schemes that have come out, and I was actually going to make a little collage of these for you so you could like know what I'm talking about here. Some of them are really good. Like, some of these teams are nailing the whole new number placement thing. Like, the 11 of Denny Hamlin is awesome. That's, like, one of my favorites so far. Both cars from Trackhouse Racing have been great. Stewart-Haas Racing can't miss right now. Like, all of their schemes look phenomenal. Like, they nailed it. And then there's teams like, specifically, the worst one that I've seen is the 20 car of Christopher Bell, the Ream car. So the whole reason, as I said, to move the numbers up was to give the sponsors more space on the side of the car. They left half the car blank.
Nice.
Like, the entire both rear fenders don't have a single sponsor on them. Now, they could have some corporate tie-ins that they throw in there. Ream could, and just put them on there.
So you're saying from quarter panel, rear quarter panel to rear quarter panel behind the bumper, essentially.
So I am saying from the front of the rear wheel well, because that's about where the Ream logo ends.
Okay. To
the very end of the side of the car. I haven't seen the back bumper. I'd assume there's something on that, but all the way to where the side of the car meets the back bumper.
Whose car is it?
Christopher Bell. I think I might have a picture saved of it that I can send to you.
Let's see.
It's Harvick. Go to Christopher Bell's Twitter or something. But like, that one's horrendous. There's been a couple others that are just terrible. But I even people who people like me who don't necessarily want this to happen, but really could care less. Like, once we get through Daytona, like, nobody's gonna even notice it. Like, it's just gonna be part of the new normal. Like, it already is. Like I said, a lot of these schemes are great. I don't even care about it. But like, you got people out there that want to boycott NASCAR because they moved the damn numbers. Ridiculous.
What the fuck?
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
So on
So
the
they
back,
literally-
on the back bumper,
Okay.
it just says Ream.com and then Toyota.
That's what they should put. Oh, okay. So here's a Ream scheme from 2022 that I do have saved that I'm going to send to you. This was announced after Christopher Bell's scheme. And then literally everyone was like, look at this 20 car JGR. This is what you should have done. Because they put Ream.com along the quarter panel of the car, right above the wheel well. It's like, come on.
That makes sense.
Like, that's how you're supposed to use the space.
Ah.
What are you doing? Good God.
I'm glad I went to look at that, but I mean, I'm not glad because that's just so terrible.
Like I said, Stewart Haas Racing hasn't missed on any of these schemes. There's still plenty that need to be released. I'm actually really excited for Joey Logano's 22 car. Because thank God with the number placement, they have to switch up that paint scheme that's been so stale for so long. And with, no, they do. Well, at least with Joey's fire suit, because that has been seen. He showed us all that. And that had some white on it, which there's never been white on that car. It's been yellow and red all throughout, ever since Logano's been there. Even before Logano was been there, Kurt Busch drove that. But enough of the paint schemes. Final bit of NASCAR news. This one was hilarious. Tyler Reddick signed a multi-race sponsorship deal, and I'm not quite sure how to pronounce this because it's a company I've never heard of. I'm just going to assume 3Chi. That's exactly how it looks on the car. It's 3CHI.
I'd say 3Chi.
Which is a distributor of THC and CBD products. Yeah. Literally, this came right, like after we had all the LGB coin stuff. And then this comes out. It's just like, fuck yeah, man. And of course, everyone's like, this is okay, but let's go Brandon KP on the car. Yeah, pretty much.
3Chi probably has some form of money.
Yeah, I believe they do. I would assume they do. And yeah, no, they're actually a legitimate company.
Let's move on.
I could have gotten into more Brandon Brown stuff, but I'm sick of talking about him, and I kind of wish that I could go back to a time. It's like you with Rico Beard. I want to go back to a time before I knew he existed.
Yeah.
Which would be about NASCAR Heat 2. Because he was always racing in the back in those games.
Let's move on to the college football playoff, our national title game. Our final time in season 5, we talk about college football.
It's a sad time, but
or at least, let me rephrase it.
Time.
The final time we talk about a game being played.
Right. Right, indeedy.
The Georgia Bulldogs beat the Alabama Crimson Tide 33-18. This game was 9-3, 9-6 at half.
9-6 in favor of Alabama. Yep.
In favor of Alabama at half. This is the third national title claimed by by the Georgia Bulldogs, and the first since Herschel Walker was there in 1980.
Yeah, long ass time.
Few more things, real quick before we talk about this. Georgia's head coach Kirby Smart wins his first national championship in his 6th season at Georgia. Stetson Bennett wins the offensive MVP. Stetson Bennett went 17 for 26, 224, 2 touchdowns, 2 fumbles, one of which was lost. All I'm gonna say real quick, Stetson Bennett, hell of a journey by him. He absurd.
Like what? He was a fucking mailman a couple years back,
essentially.
And then, literally, I think. And then, walked on to Georgia, had to leave, came back.
I say in 2017, he walked on at Georgia. He was behind Jake Fromm, Jake Fromm, who did lead Georgia to a national title that they then lost.
Yeah.
Stetson Bennett didn't take a snap. Justin Fields committed to Georgia, and then Bennett left to decide to transfer to Jones County Community College. Stetson Bennett, who is a mostly hometown kid, I mean, he's from Atlanta, so he won this quite literally in his hometown.
Well, what they said that when he was 3 years old, I think they said that he said he was gonna play quarterback at Alabama.
Yeah.
Or at Georgia. Sorry, I'm like the guy giving out the hats at the end of this game. You see that?
Yeah.
The Georgia player walking around with an Alabama national championship hat.
Yeah.
Somebody goofed on that one.
In 2018, he did transfer. That was after he transferred to Jones County Community College. He entered the transfer portal a second time. He almost went to Louisiana. The Louisiana Raging Cajuns. He ended up going back to Georgia, though, because Justin Fields transferred to Ohio State. Worked out pretty well for Justin Fields. And Ohio State, mostly.
I would say it worked out rather well.
He was able to get a scholarship back. In 2019, Stetson Bennett had 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He had 1 rushing touchdown. He appeared in the SEC title game after Jake Fromm went down with an injury. They lost to LSU.
Yep, and then I don't know, won the starting job, what it was, the situation with what's his name? JT Daniels.
In 2020, Bennett started the season as a backup to DeJuan Mathis. Mathis was named the starter after the original planned starter opted out because of COVID. Bennett eventually got the starting job, and then USC transfer JT Daniels did end up winning the starting job. Here in 2020, 2021, JT Daniels kind of wasn't good. Granted, he won he got the starting job after JT Daniels went down with a oblique injury against the UAB Blazers.
Yeah. Yeah, when it comes to Stetson Bennett, I really think he's a lot, not so much with the story and, how he wound up where he wound up, but more so like just the way he plays. He's a lot like a Cade McNamara sort of guy. Like, he's not going to blow you away. He's just going to do smart stuff. He's just going to get you to where he's going to do basically what he needs to do to get you wins. That's basically what he is. He had the one fumble. The fumble loss that is just insane because he was trying to throw the ball away. He fumbled it just before his arm was coming forward. It bounces on the ground and Alabama picks it up, and the player that picked it up, his foot could not have been any closer to being out of bounds if he tried. Like, you could not fit a piece of paper in between his foot and the line.
I have no idea how he stayed in bounds.
You couldn't see white in between. Like, it's just insane. But then what did Stetson Bennett do? Came back in that, it was a 50-some yard throw, I believe. And
yeah, I believe so.
It wasn't one of those, 10-yard passes and then the wide receiver did the rest. No, that was a bomb into the end zone. I mean, he came back. He responded real well. So, I mean, the stats don't blow you away, but he made plays when he had to.
And then defensively, Lewis Cine wins. I believe that's how, if I remember correctly, is how that's pronounced.
I think it's Lewis Cine.
Cine. Okay, Lewis Cine wins defensive MVP. 7 tackles, 6 solo tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 pass defended. All I'm gonna say about this one, and deserved it. That Georgia defense, anyone on that defense could have won it. I am still a big fan of God. Fucking defensive end 99, huge man.
I don't know.
I'm looking his name up right now.
I know he's a dude, but I don't remember.
Yeah, he's a dude. For any reason, I always want to say Jordan Lewis, but that's not who it is. So give me 1 second.
It's definitely not Jordan Lewis.
Give me 1 second.
Jordan Lewis is a corner for Michigan.
Yeah, I know.
I think he's with the Cowboys now.
Sounds right.
I mean, unless they let him go, I don't know.
Are
But
you going to do what I want you to do, internet?
No, all I'll say on Georgia before we move on to the NFL, really,
Jordan Davis. There we go.
There we go. I knew Jordan was in there somewhere. I couldn't remember what
At 6 foot huge, 360 pounds. Like 6'9".
6 foot huge.
Just huge motherfucker as a defensive end, and I love watching him play. Defense flexes down to a defensive tackle. Phenomenal.
The last bit on Georgia that I've had is just basically the best team won.
Yeah.
Like, they had the blemish against Alabama, and now you look back at it, it's like, well, how in the world that happened? Well, Alabama played better that day, but Georgia got their shit together, and I mean, it was tight for a long time, but they made the plays when they had to, and when Alabama wasn't making the plays.
I'm going to say, this Georgia defense, phenomenal.
I mean, one of the best all time.
I don't even think I could say one of the best. I think it is the best of all time, at least in college football.
I say one of the best because I really don't. I would have to, look it up and everything like that.
You had that late 90s, like 99 and then 2000 Miami Hurricanes defense, which was phenomenal. But I honestly don't know if they're better than this defense.
Off the top of my head, I can't think of anyone better.
Yeah, it would have to be that, like those late 90s to 2000 Miami defenses.
Pretty much. I mean,
with fucking Ray Lewis and company.
Georgia's insane. Like, for Michigan, like, no shame in losing to that. What are you going to do?
No. Nothing. Just nothing. Anything else on this game?
That's all I got.
I don't have much to say because this game, just the best team did win.
Yeah. Took them a while to prove they were the best team, but once they did, no doubt.
Let's move on to the NFL Week 18, the first Week 18 in NFL history.
This is what I have dubbed NFL Dominoes, because that's what this week was.
Yeah.
Like, good God above. The things that had to happen to have us wind up where we did. Crazy.
Jesus. Kansas City Chiefs beat the Denver Broncos on Saturday 28-24. Kansas kind of cut this a little closer. Kansas City cut this a little closer. Not much to say.
Yeah. Well, Denver had them on the ropes. They were marching on the field.
The dagger drive.
Gordon, I did call it the dagger drive, man. It should have been. Melvin Gordon with a fumble, picked up. KC takes it back. It was game over at that time. There's no way Denver's responding after that. Not a chance. KC goes into the playoffs still hot, even with the loss to Cincinnati. I mean, it's nobody wants to see Kansas City.
No.
Pittsburgh really doesn't want to see Kansas City, but they have to.
Double no. Well, this game happened on Saturday night. The Dallas Cowboys played the Philadelphia Eagles in a game last week in the picks. I said Philly could backdoor cover Dallas.
No.
Because the spread was 7.5. Dallas won 51-26.
Was this the Scorigami game?
Yes.
I was to say we had a scoregami this weekend.
Gardner Minshew's mustache did not rule the day.
No.
I still love me some Gardner Minshew though.
I mean, and hey, he was all right. he did what he had to do. I mean, for Philly, this really didn't mean a ton. They were already in the playoffs, so
and couldn't get a better seed. They were locked in.
What did it really mean? I mean, that's why you saw it. I mean, Jalen Hurts is a little banged up too, but he wouldn't have started even if he was fully healthy, I don't think.
No.
I mean, they were missing pieces on defense, but even if Dallas starts all their guys, Philly starts all their guys, and score might not be that much different.
Dallas just went out there and bludgeoned them.
Philly might have made it closer. That's about it.
Let's move on. Moving to Sunday, the Washington football team beat the lowly New York Giants 22-7.
Last game for the football team, man.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Yeah, maybe. We don't know for sure yet, but yeah. if it was football team, it's been fun. I will always call you the football team.
I might start calling them the football club.
I do. I really do hope it would be the most football team thing ever. It'd be the most Dan Snyder thing ever to hype up the new name for the team after 2 years of the 2 seasons of the Washington football team. It'd be the most Dan Snyder thing ever.
To do a name change on
a name change and then wind up being, instead of the football team, the football club
on a Tuesday in the middle of the morning at like 11 o'clock.
I'm rooting for that to happen. I want it to happen.
Well, it's supposed to be on like a Tuesday.
Well, I know that, but I'm rooting for football club. I really am.
Oh, okay. Let's move on
for the memes alone.
Yeah.
There's nothing to say about this game other than the Giants QB sneak on 3rd and 9, which we've already addressed.
The Minnesota Vikings beat the Chicago Bears 31-17.
Yeah, if Matt Nagy's fate wasn't already sealed, this definitely sealed it. Mike Zimmer, none apparently could help him, but that's crazy. Both these teams looking for new head coaches. Domino number 1.
Yeah, the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Indianapolis Colts 26-11. Trevor Lawrence, I got one thing to say about this game. Trevor Lawrence actually didn't look like a fucking bum.
Hey, looks solid.
Like,
you know who did? Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz did. Yeah, he looked bad.
Like they're already talking now about he might not be the guy.
Yeah, I saw something that the Colts are finally gonna stop trying just to band-aid the situation.
That was the quote, that they aren't gonna apply the band-aid on the QB situation anymore. I don't know what that means for him. I don't know who they go and get. But
you might have to draft a guy and just hope it works.
Maybe. Unless they think that they can get involved with potentially getting Russell Wilson. I really don't know. They want to take the chance. I don't think the Colts are dumb enough to take a chance on Deshaun Watson. I really don't.
I don't think Jim Irsay is that.
Right. You got people questioning Frank Reich now. I mean,
the only thing I'm going to question is, why is Jonathan Taylor not touching the ball every play?
Dude, literally have Jonathan Taylor give him 35 carries a game. Like, what's so hard to understand about that? I don't get it. Like, just do it.
Honestly, like, just have
What?
This was announced just a little bit ago. Oh my gosh. Kirk Ferentz is getting a contract extension at Iowa through the 2029 season.
2020? What?
Now,
I'm sure Iowa fans might be happy about that. Because their beef isn't with Kirk Ferentz, but it is Kirk Ferentz's son having a place on the coaching staff. But this is turning into Mark D'Antonio. Like, he's just helping out buddies.
Oh my gosh. I just saw this and I opened ESPN for a second. I just saw this. Through 2029.
Goodness gracious. How old is Kirk Ferentz?
Well, he's 66 and he just completed his 23rd season at Iowa.
Goodness gracious. All right. Interesting for Iowa. I mean, I'm sure they could buy him out technically at some point.
Probably. Jonathan Taylor only touched the ball 15 times.
Yep.
Against the Jags.
That's where the questions with Frank Reich are coming in. And I mean, they were getting bludgeoned. Like they were never in that game.
No.
Like, come on. Like this game made no sense. Like there is no reason for the Jags to win this game, and they won this game. What's up, Caleb? How you
doing? Give the ball to Jonathan Taylor. That has to be the game plan for next year. I don't care who your quarterback is.
It really, like I said, give Jonathan Taylor the ball 35 times. Come on. Yeah, the NFL's leading rusher, and he gave him the ball 15 times.
The second best running back in the NFL.
Yeah.
Because Derrick Henry is still better.
Next year, who knows? Maybe Jonathan Taylor might be number one. I don't know.
Anything else to say about this game? Notable thing for the Jacksonville Jaguars, all of their fans showed up wearing clown costumes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
Pat
the Colts got fucking clowned.
Pat was not too happy about that one. He was. We lost in Clown Town. Goodness gracious. I bet they weren't expecting that when they showed up to the game dressed as clowns.
The Colts got fucking clowned.
A win to keep the Colts out of the playoffs. And my final note for this game, I like the Colts, man. I like Jonathan Taylor.
I love watching Jonathan Taylor play football.
And they screwed it up.
Yeah.
Don't get off to such a cold start next year, Colts, and maybe you can make it.
Moving on, the Cleveland Browns beat the Cincinnati Bengals 21-16. All I gotta say about this game is meh.
I mean, who cares? It really didn't matter for the Bengals. Once the Chiefs won anyway.
Once the Chiefs won, this game was just kind of just meh.
Yeah, I mean it, because I would imagine you sat most of your guys, right?
Yeah. Joe Mixon was out with contact tracing, COVID contact tracing.
Okay.
And Joe Burrow sat.
I mean, as he should. Yeah. I mean, good for the Browns, I guess. Didn't matter. You were already out of the playoffs, so. That division, man.
Yeah.
That turned into something that we did not expect.
I really wish I could say something about this game, but it's just so meh. Like, it would have been nice for the Bengals. The Bengals didn't beat the Browns this year. Lost to them both times.
I mean, they would have won this game had everyone been playing. Like, I don't have a doubt now.
So I don't have much to say about this game.
Caleb asked you, do you believe in the Bengals yet?
They might do something in the playoffs against the Raiders if they show up and actually play football.
I have been on the Bengals, I believe, since week 4, where I said that they were good, and then they gave us a couple scares along the way.
They're possibly one of the, like, if it wasn't for the Chargers, who we'll talk about here in a minute, the Bengals would probably be the most inconsistent team in football.
Yeah, quite possibly.
And that's what worries me. Because Zach Taylor, even though he's probably going to win Coach of the Year, just, I don't know if he's the guy.
I don't know if he's Coach of the Year.
Last thing I got to say about this game, I wish I could say something about the game itself, but other than the fact it was so fucking meh. Where do the Browns go from here? Like, I don't know if Baker's the guy. I know this year he's injured, but something needs to happen somewhere.
I don't think you give up on Baker yet.
Well, you can't because you have him for next year.
Right.
You're paying him no matter what.
Yeah, well, at least, you're paying him something. I mean, somebody might take him, but I don't think you move on from Baker yet. Like, I don't think you look for trade partner and trade him below what his value would have been last year. I feel like that'd be a bit silly. I don't know. Browns, I mean, with the way that division turned out this year, I mean, if they have a good offseason, Baker gets healthy, they might be able to get back into, what they were doing. I mean, they still got Nick Chubb. I mean,
I was about to turn this around, and Kevin Stefanski needs to run fucking Nick Chubb. Just like Jonathan Taylor needs to get the ball 30 times, 25, 30, 35 times a game, Nick Chubb needs to get the ball 30 times a game.
Why is it so hard to just run star running backs? Why is this?
It works for the Titans.
Mike Tomlin had his moments with Najee Harris. It's like, come on now.
Just do it.
What are we doing?
Let's move on to the Titans, who I just kind of mentioned. The Titans beat the Texans 28-25.
Yeah.
Whoop-de-doo.
Nobody cares. They get Derrick Henry back for the playoffs.
Which is scary.
So they were the best team in the NFL before he got hurt.
Mama, there goes that man. Here comes that man.
Right. Like, I think Tennessee, I know we say this about a lot of teams, like, you don't want to run into them because, like, you don't know what they are. Like, they've been without Derrick Henry for so long. Like, it's gonna be a wild, wild time.
Mama, here comes that man.
Mm-hmm.
I think if Derrick Henry is even like a third is as good as he was pre-injury as he was this year, because Derrick Henry was going to easily surpass 2,000 yards this year.
Oh, easily. Jonathan Taylor should have as well.
And Derrick Henry would have done it in 16 games. He wouldn't have needed the 17th.
Yeah, we might have done it in 15.
He could have done it in 14. Derrick Henry, if he's just like a third as good as he was pre-injury this postseason run, Titans might win the fucking Super Bowl.
I really do think that he probably could have came back this week or the week before, but they know how important he is to that team, and they just took their time, got him healthy, and they're going to bring him back for the playoffs, and that's something that no team that could face the Titans wants to see.
Yeah.
Like, have fun. Dude's a bowling ball.
Godspeed, soldier. That's it. Godspeed.
That's it on that one.
The Detroit Football Lions beat the Green Bay Packers 37-30.
Yeah. For some reason, Aaron Rodgers played half of this game. I really don't know why. And the Lions were still beating them even when Aaron Rodgers was in the game. So, this game made no sense to me. Dean, good for the Lions, I guess. So some breakout players this season for us is really just the best thing that we can look at. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown is a dude. Like, his second half of the season was incredible.
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift, if we use him properly,
and he stays healthy.
Yeah, that's a bit of a problem as well. And Dan Campbell uses him. Still bitter about my fantasy Super Bowl, but I digress. Yeah, no, I mean, the Lions have some pieces that they can build around. Obviously, Penei Sewell. And, earlier in the year, if you would have told me that I would be okay with Jared Goff going into next season, I would have called you crazy. But, I mean, now, we've seen, like, once Dan Campbell took over the play calling, it really was just night and day difference. Like, Goff was way better. And then in the games where we didn't have Jared Goff, we had Tim Boyle, you saw just how much of a gap there was between the two. So, you got to pay him for next year anyway, on that big deal. after next season, if you want to move on from him, you can do it. Contract runs, I think, a year or two after that, but you can get rid of him next year for no cap hit. So we will see.
All I'm going to say, go ahead.
2023 is another big season to see where the Lions truly are.
All I'm going to say, like, let's be honest. The 2022-2023 Lions, so this upcoming season, or well, next season, Lions probably aren't going to be great. Are they going to be worse than the NFL? Or competing for worse than the NFL? Probably not.
No, I don't think so. I think we'll probably still be in top 10 pick range, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I would agree.
Caleb asks, do we take the risk of not taking a quarterback this year? I mean, yeah, I'm all right with it.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt.
I don't want a quarterback with the second pick. That is way too high. If you want to trade down, if you're not sold on Thibodeau or Hutchinson or any other one of those top guys, then yeah, sure, just trade down, get more picks. If I would look at a quarterback with any pick, it would be the Rams pick, wherever that one winds up being. But it's going to depend on, who's available. Like, who knows how deep the Rams go, if Malik Willis is still going to be there, if Matt Corral's still going to be there. We don't know right now. So
I think those are the Lions' two best options. I think Kenny Pickett's going to be gone by that second pick.
Kenny, well, yeah. Oh, the Rams pick. I guess.
By the
I was
Rams
like,
pick.
wait, what? I was like, what? You think the Jags are taking Kenny Pickett?
No.
No. Yeah. It's right now. Like, I can't even put together like a draft strategy of what I want to do because we don't know where that Rams pick is going to fall. Like, if they go out and bomb in their game this weekend, then well, things could get interesting. That pick gets higher. If they go on a run, I mean, we could have an early 20s pick, or we could have, obviously, worst case scenario, the 32nd pick. So we will see.
And then
what
turn
happens.
around and have the 34th.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting scenario. I'm not to the point where I think we need to take a quarterback next year, because I think, like I said, I think we're going to be top 10 pick 2024 or 2023 rather.
Yes, I agree, and I will say this, and I mean no disrespect to you, Jordan.
Uh-oh.
I feel like I know college football a little bit more than you because I watch a extremely unhealthy amount of college football.
I mean, I do as well, but you also played, so who am I to argue?
Not even that. Like, I am just a college football guy. I'm not as much of an NFL guy. This year's quarterback class is not great.
Oh no, it's definitely not.
Next year's honestly could be just as bad though. Other than the fact that you're gonna have C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young, you're gonna have two guys next year that we know most likely are going to come out as juniors.
Yeah, and I would take either one of those two guys, I think, over who is in this draft. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, I would take Bryce Young over Corral and Willis, obviously, and C.J. Stroud over Corral and Willis. So
yeah,
that's kind of why I wanted. I if we get one of those two, hey, we'll see how it goes.
It won't hurt you. It won't hurt the Lions if they get Matt Corral or Willis.
No, it won't hurt. But do you wait it out with the hopes of getting Bryce Young, who all indications is one of the best quarterbacks we've seen at Alabama in a long time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah, that's fair.
We got months and months to go before the draft, so we'll see what shakes out with that.
Let's move on. The Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Baltimore Ravens 16-13.
Domino number 2.
I'm gonna say one thing about this game real quick, and it's not even about this game. It's about the Baltimore Ravens season in general. John Harbaugh's a fucking moron.
He has
End
had
quote.
some moronic. He has had some moronic moments this year. There is no doubt about that. I can't call him a moron. You know, he's had success with Baltimore.
He has, yes.
You know, Super Bowl champion, obviously there. So, I won't call him a moron, but he did his game management this year was very interesting, as were a lot of NFL coaches.
So I'm gonna say one thing. I know NFL head coaches are really afraid of going into overtime and getting that tie. They're afraid of the tie.
This year more than ever.
Yes. NFL coaches seem to be really afraid of that tie because then you get in a scenario like the Steelers did where, and we'll talk about the rest of the dominoes here in a minute. This is, as you said, domino 2, where the Steelers, who, spoiler alert, if you've missed it, you didn't know it by now, it's been 6 days, the Steelers did make the fucking playoffs. If you've been living under a rock and you've missed it, I hate to spoil it to you, but they made the playoffs.
What? They made the playoffs? No way. Although, to be fair, I probably would have said that about week 10.
Yeah, that is true. You get that tie like the Steelers did, and I believe they were the only NFL team to get a tie this year.
Obviously, other than the Lions, who tied that game.
Other than the Lions, but yeah.
Yeah.
That was the only... Let me rephrase it so it's actually correct. That was the only tie this year.
It was.
Okay. You get a scenario like that where you do get the tie. You need so many fucking things to go right for you to have a chance of making the playoffs. Too. Like, getting that tie can royally fuck your season. So I understand it.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, we're coaches are handing out W's to other teams now.
Yeah. And John Harbaugh is the forefront of that. Has been the forefront of that this year.
I think there's one guy. One guy worse. But we'll get to him.
Yeah. Anything else to say about this game?
Nope.
I mean, good for the Steelers. Good for Ben Roethlisberger. His final ride. Let's move on, though.
He's not sounding too confident. He's got to go into Kansas City, but
I saw a quote where he's like, we're the underdogs. Let's just go out there and play football and have fun.
That's exactly what he said, I think. But he's like, I think in that same quote, because I watched the video, he's like, we're not really a good football team.
They've got a lot of questions.
I mean, he's not lying, but
yeah,
that's probably not what fans want to hear. But they should know by now.
The New Orleans Saints beat the Atlanta Falcons 30-20. The Saints almost made the playoffs. They had a solid season.
For what they had to go through to get to where they were, to have a chance to make the playoffs in Week 18, I thought the Saints were done weeks ago.
Yeah.
But they apparently did what they had to do to have a meaningful Week 18 game, and they needed some help that they didn't get on this day. But, I mean, without Jameis, Jameis isn't like the greatest of all time or anything, but he's certainly better than the revolving door of quarterbacks that they had. Ian Book,
Trevor Siemian. Taysom Hill, who I think could have been like solid quarterback.
Probably.
And he's shown flashes at points.
Right. He showed flashes when, at least in the past, like when Drew Brees was there, and he was just a bit of a distraction. But
even this year, he showed flashes of being solid.
Yeah, he had some good moments, but Jameis gave them the best chance to win by far, and to even have them be in that situation with 3 quarterbacks playing after Jameis went down, crazy.
The Saints.
I just remember I just remember when the Saints were the most inconsistent team in the NFL. Remember that?
Yeah,
When they one week 1, lost week 2, 1 week 3, lost week 4.
yeah, and they won big, lost big, won big, lost big.
Yeah, like they would beat teams that they really shouldn't beat, and then lose teams that you're like, what?
By 20. Both ways.
Crazy.
The Saints, big thing going into the offseason for Sean Payton and the Saints. Figure out if you believe in Jameis Winston and get that fucking quarterback room healthy. The biggest reason they had that revolving door of Taysom Hill, Trevor Siemian, and Ian Book is because none of the quarterbacks in that quarterback room could stay healthy.
No. Bad times.
Anything else to say?
No, not really.
Okay. Miami Dolphins beat the New England Patriots 33-24. Patriots are kind of backpedaling into the playoffs. They still made it.
Yeah,
Matthew Judon's a dude.
Yeah. They backed in a little bit. They had the loss to the Colts that I think we were both so high on the Patriots at that time. It was like, wait, what? But yeah, they went out and did it, and they did back in a little bit, but
the Dolphins. Oh, go ahead, finish.
No, I just think the Patriots. They got a shot. You got Bill Belichick coaching your team. You always have a shot.
The Dolphins they still had a chance to make it and just didn't get the help.
Yeah, the Dolphins organization is ass. Stephen Ross.
Yeah, and the Dolphins had a chance to get in.
Open up that wallet for a little bit of NIL money there, Ross.
And they didn't get the help they needed Sunday. I think they needed the Steelers to lose. The Steelers didn't. I think they also needed I think it was just they needed the Steelers to lose. No.
Who now?
The Dolphins. They needed help to get in the playoffs.
They needed help, but they didn't. I don't think. I guess they must have needed more than the Steelers if they didn't make it.
Yeah. I think they were still playoff eligible on Sunday.
I believe so.
And they
they wore those beautiful throwback uniforms. Please make those the primary.
And they just didn't get the help they needed, and then Stephen Ross or whoever, just moron, fired Brian Flores.
Am I gonna do MLB when the season comes back around? Maybe. If I get my shit together.
So that's all I gotta say on that. Is the Dolphins with Brian Flores had potential. Who are you gonna go get that's as good or better? No clue. Godspeed. Idiots.
If Flores have a losing season, he might have his first year.
I think his first year was a losing season.
But it wasn't like tragic.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, but like what? I think it was back-to-back. Well, it was back-to-back winning seasons. We know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I will never understand the Flores move, even with the rumors about him and Tua and the GM.
Yeah.
Like, don't like it.
The Seattle Seahawks beat the Arizona Cardinals 38-30. The Cardinals are frauds. I've said it for a while.
And yet, they win this game. They would have won the division.
Yeah.
Given what happens a couple games from now.
Yeah.
No.
Russell Wilson looked good again.
It kind of goes into my theory that they rushed Russell Wilson back too early.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, he did not look like Russell Wilson is supposed to look when he first came back and for the couple weeks following. But then last few weeks, he's looked a lot better, even though they lost to the Bears.
Yeah. Anything to say about this game?
I'm with you, man. I think the Cardinals are frauds. They are wildly inconsistent. And not even really. Like, they are consistently bad now. Like, you lose to the Lions. You
No. And I'm not a Lions fan, obviously. They didn't just lose
Yeah.
to the Lions. They got fucking dominated by the Lions.
wire to wire blown out. But 3-13 or 3-12-1. Nope, 3-13-1 Detroit Lions.
It was a struggle for me to say they got dominated by the Lions with a straight face. Just so you know. But it's the truth.
I mean, should not happen. I will do what I can to figure it out. Even though I did say on Twitter yesterday that I yesterday was one of the rare days where I was like, man, I really don't miss streaming on Twitch every day like I used to because of all the Pokimane stuff going on.
Not just her, but yeah, all of Twitch streamers streaming fucking TV shows now. Because apparently that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's happening. Yeah. Like I said in that tweet, it was like, if you would have told me in 2017 that I ever would have defended Pokimane in anything, I would have told you were crazy. But weird times, man, weird times. But every other day, or most days, I do miss being on Twitch every day. Most days.
Sliding through the rest of the Week 18, Buffalo Bills beat the Jets 27-10 because the Patriots lost in the earlier slate. This game was extremely meaningless.
Yeah.
And well,
what were the Bills gonna do? Were they gonna go out and lose to the Jets? No. I mean, I know the Colts lost to the Jags, which was a shock, but the Bills, in no way they lose to the Jets, right? No matter what.
On paper, yeah, there's just no.
The Cardinals were consistently good for how many games they started good. They had a really good first half of the year.
They had a good first 7 games. They started 7-0, and then just
when Kyler got hurt, it was like they never recovered from that. Like it
wasn't even when Kyler got hurt. They played the Packers, and
right,
they made that really dumb play call at the end.
Right. It wasn't saying like, oh, Kyler got hurt, so that's why they turned into what they have been. No, it just seemed like that was the turning point. Like, because they didn't play like they were. Well, if it was as simple as just streaming, I would be doing it. But gotta get some stuff back. What do I need other than a decent PC again?
Not Frontier.
Yeah, not Frontier. I gotta get a better internet service.
That way I'm not having to run your Twitch stream from my house.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit, Frontier.
Yeah, gotta get that taken care of. I think that's it. Like, I still got my webcam. I still got my audio mixer. Still got my microphone. Everything like that. I just need a better PC again. Like, I could theoretically... Oh, and a capture card. I need a capture card again, too. I could theoretically try if I got a capture card, but I don't think my PC or my internet would handle it. But anyway, let's move on.
Yep, let's move on. Buccaneers beat the Panthers 41-17. Who notable thing? Tom Brady stayed in the game long enough for Gronk to get his contract incentive. Other than that, this game existed.
Yeah, not much to say about this one. Buccaneers probably didn't envision themselves playing on Wild Card Weekend, but here they are. At least at the start of the season.
That defense is just so
inconsistent.
Yeah.
Frontier is indeed an internet provider, barely, but they are. What? Charter? What's Charter speeds these days? Is it still 100?
I believe so. Let's see what it is right now while I'm streaming.
Oh, well, that's gonna be terrible. Frontier's megabits per second is 10.
Just out of curiosity. While running your Twitch stream, I'm at 114.
Jesus Christ!
With Charter.
Maybe they upped it again.
114 download, and
even though Charter was the reason that this is happening on a Friday, in typical Charter fashion.
Oh yeah, Charter was dead for 4 days because of a windstorm, and Spectrum didn't want to come fix my internet. Yeah. I don't want to talk about it. I'm still so bitter. Let's
second to last game.
Yeah, thank you. That's where we were. San Francisco 49ers beat the Rams 27-24 in overtime.
And make the playoffs.
And made the playoffs.
I mean, who had that happening? I mean, the 49ers have been kind of a mess there for the last little bit.
They were dead in the water for a little while.
By the way, the man who picked off Matthew Stafford and sent the Rams to the playoffs to end that game, Ambry Thomas, went to Michigan. Hell yeah. Forgot he was a 49er.
The 49ers were dead in the water for a little bit there, and here they are.
Between Jimmy G and occasionally Trey Lance and everything that's gone on, I mean, to make it to where they've gotten is rather impressive. So,
yeah,
props to them. For the Rams, I mean, they lost the game. They still win the division title because Arizona lost. I'm in a tough spot because I do want Matthew Stafford to succeed, but him not succeeding makes the Lions draft pick we got from the Rams better. So
fair.
Tough spot to be in. I mainly at this point want them to win to spite Jeff Rieger.
Very fair.
It's been hating on Stafford. Literally, I mean, we've been over this, but I'll sum it up briefly. He set himself up on Twitter to the point that if the Rams do anything but win the Super Bowl, Matthew Stafford is a failure, and basically he is saying that he will always be a failure, blah, 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 blah. Even if they make it to the Super Bowl and lose, like, he will be insufferable. So, to avoid that, and so we can all annoy the shit out of Jeff Rieger, do want the Rams to go far.
I mean, even if he wins, Jeff Rieger, if the Rams win, Jeff Rieger, oh, well, look at the team that he had around him.
No, he won't even say that. It'll be, well, what about, he threw 3 straight incompletions in the second quarter. Like, he pops up on Twitter, right, like, during Rams games. Not when Stafford's doing well. See, he will say nothing. And then as soon as he's, like, if Stafford struggles at any point in the game, there he is.
Just there waiting. Let's move on to the final game. Domino.
The last domino.
Number.
Yep. Well, honestly, 3 and 4.
3 and 4.
They were side by side. They got knocked over at the same time.
The Las Vegas Raiders, 35. The Los Angeles Chargers, 32. In overtime. So I'm going to set the stage, and then Jordan, you take this away.
Oh, boy.
Because I did not really watch a lot of this game.
You would have hated every second.
Yeah, that's what I've been told by a lot of people.
Imagine if this game was on the Manning cast. Like, Peyton Manning would be losing his mind because this was just bad football by the Chargers.
That's what I've been told. I've gone back and I've seen bits of it, just so I'm, like, filled in on what happened. But let me say
entirety. Hold on. Entirety of the second half was just like, what are we doing? God, go ahead.
Let me set the stage for you. Early in the day, the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Baltimore Ravens. But the Pittsburgh Steelers needed a bit more help than that because they got the tie against the lowly Detroit Football Lions.
Worst football game I've ever seen.
Yes, it was. But the Pittsburgh Steelers, with their win over the Baltimore Ravens, were not eliminated from the playoffs.
And, of course, with the Colts lost to the Jags.
And the Colts lost to the Jags. Thank you.
That needed to happen as well. That was what made Pittsburgh making the playoffs just so out of the realm of possibility. You're like, that ain't gonna happen.
So I'm gonna have to reset this because I actually forgot that. Yeah. Sunday morning, the Pittsburgh Steelers outlook was grim because they need the Colts to lose to the really just the awful Jacksonville Jaguars. They needed to win.
Worst team in football.
The 1 o'clock slate rolls in. The Jacksonville Jaguars do manage to pull off the miracle and beat the Indianapolis Colts 26-11. Ben Roethlisberger, who didn't want to get eliminated, he's only been eliminated one time as a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Yep.
Goes out.
He's played 2 games his entire career where he has been mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Goes out, beats the Baltimore Ravens 16-13 in overtime. That leaves the final domino. The Las Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Chargers. One team has to win the game. Can't have a tie. If we have a tie, the Steelers are done. Going home, sleeping in bed. They would get to sleep in on Saturday or Sunday. Whatever day it would have been.
Sleep in well into Monday morning.
Wouldn't have to travel anywhere.
Other than back home, because I do believe they played in Baltimore.
Possibly. I do not remember. And then
I think that's why I put Ben Roethlisberger in a white jersey up here. So.
Oh, he is in a white jersey. I didn't even actually look at the graphic. I'm not gonna lie. And then though, something happened in the Los Angeles game. We had a winner. Jordan, the stage is yours.
Where do I even start?
This game was bad. That's where we start. I know I just said the stage was yours, but I took it for a second just to start it off for you. Now, stage is yours.
Like, okay. I will start with about 8 minutes, 30 seconds to go in the third quarter. When the Chargers have a fourth down, and 1 from their own 18-yard line. They are down 3. What would you say you should probably do in that situation? You got plenty of game left.
There's this thing called punting. That's what I would do.
Brandon Staley doesn't know what that is.
No, he does not. He hasn't known what that is since the game against the Chiefs a few weeks ago. And
punt.
And what was honestly one of the worst Thursday night games that I would watch, but still one of the most exciting Thursday night games I've watched all season.
I don't know. Those early Thursday night games, right, when they first introduced it, were always terrible. Now it's Monday Night Football. It's usually just massive ass.
Yeah, it's true.
No, they don't punt. Go for it on fourth down. Don't get it. Set the Raiders up in the red zone. Now, the Raiders did not score a touchdown. Kicked the field goal. The Chargers fell down quite a bit in this game. Needed a last-second touchdown pass from Justin Herbert in the extra point to tie the game. Yep. So we do indeed go to overtime.
If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers or a fan, you're sweating it out.
Pittsburgh Steelers fans I have seen all over the internet. Literally just like our butt cheeks were clenched harder than they've ever been.
Yeah.
Especially because the Raiders kick a field goal on the first drive. They got the ball to start overtime. Chargers go down, kick a field goal, tie the game back up. Next score wins. We were looking like we weren't going to get that. There are 32 seconds to go. and the tie is looking imminent. The Raiders have the ball on the Chargers' 39. You can go for a field goal in that situation if you want to. Little bit risky.
The long kick.
You know, it's a long kick. Things can go wrong. And if you tie, you're still in the playoffs. It doesn't matter. Brandon Staley. Brandon fucking Staley calls a timeout. There's like 8 seconds left on the play clock. It's third down, or rather, it's third down, fourth down. I don't remember.
I think it was third.
It was third down
because the Raiders were confident we're just gonna kneel it down and get out of there.
Yeah.
I will say yes. If you get some of those fourth downs against the Chiefs and you get that one against the Raiders this past weekend, Staley looks like a genius. But
like that's some Dan Campbell stuff right there. Like that he's been doing this season, knowing that the Lions aren't going anywhere. There's no point in not doing it. Brandon Staley had every reason not to do it.
Why is OBS exploding?
If you get a first down, does that really change it? Like your drive could still stall out. You're on your own 18.
Yeah. OBS is currently exploding, by the way.
Of course it is. Oh, I see.
Yeah, I'm down to 0 bits per second.
It says currently offline.
No, it's not. I know it's not Charter this time.
I mean, could be.
I hit stop streaming for a second. Start. OBS, do you want to work? OBS seems to want to work.
Okay. See here.
I don't know why I just had to reset OBS there, but okay.
Huh.
Yeah, OBS just had a small mini
yeah. OBS temporarily died.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So anyway, where were we?
Brandon Staley and
calling a timeout when he really shouldn't have called a timeout. Like even the broadcast is like, what are you doing? Like Chris Collinsworth's like, huh? What? Like, what are you doing? So of course, Raiders now feel like they have to run a play, try and get this first down, or even get closer, and potentially kick that field goal. They get the first down. I think Staley actually called another timeout.
Yeah.
But at that point, it did not matter.
Second timeout. Yeah.
Actually, I do believe it was their third. Maybe he didn't because the Raiders kicked a field goal in the last seconds, but maybe it was the Raiders who took it. But it's just like, come on, man. Like, for real. So, of course, what do the Raiders do at that point? Seconds to go. They're just like, well, shit, might as well win the game.
Might as well go win the game, and they did.
No. Sure fucking won the game. Now, like, I've seen a couple people stick up for him. It's like, well, how do you know they were going to take the tie? Well, then you get the news from the players on the field, and, like, Derek Carr saying, like, yeah, we were just going to kneel it down. We were going to take the tie.
Yeah, because the tie doesn't hurt the Raiders.
No. It hurts them none.
A loss hurts the Raiders. Like, something goofy happening while you run that play hurts the Raiders more than the tie.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Raiders were sitting there right there, like, you know, this game's tied. Let's just end it. Let's go. Let's just take this and go walk into the playoffs. And
just if you're a Steelers fan in that situation, I could not even imagine. Like, what the hell was that? But the Raiders do move on to the playoffs. Justin Herbert and the Chargers are out, which hurts me because I like the Chargers. I'm over exaggerating a little bit, but if I was in charge of the LA Chargers, man, I might think about moving on for Brandon Staley. Or at least just like you gotta tell him, like, hey, we gotta be like, you can be aggressive still. You can still be aggressive. Just be a little bit smarter with it. Because like, in what world does going for it on 4th down, 4th and 1 from your own 18 make sense? Like the odds of something bad happening to you completely outweigh the good.
My biggest issue with how aggressive Brandon Staley's been most of this season, especially here at the tail end, it's and you said it, it's stuff that like teams like the Lions do.
Like teams that have nothing to lose.
And I don't get it. You can sit and say, well, the numbers say that the analytics say this and the sabermetrics say this, and it's like, do they really?
I don't even think that's the case in this scenario. Like what analytics are you looking at that tells you to do that? Because nobody does that. What analytics are there?
Probably just 4th and 1 analytics. Just 4th and 1 in general.
You're not even gonna take into account the field position? I don't know. Self-inflicted wounds for the Chargers killed their season. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that. Like that stings for Chargers fans. It really does.
Alrighty, are we ready to move on to the picks?
Think we are.
This time for the NFL picks, I am at for the season 146 and 126. Jordan is at 141, 131.
I had a brutal week last week.
Yeah, you did.
I mean, you didn't have a phenomenal week. You got 7 correct. I got 4.
Oof.
But I mean, like, who had the Colts losing to the Jags? Like,
not me.
Who had the Browns beating the Bengals?
Not me.
Didn't you?
Nope.
Well, shit. apparently I just suck. I don't know. But yeah, not a good week.
I'd say I had the Bengals winning.
Okay.
I had the Colts winning. I had the Titans covering the spread, and the spread was bigger than 3 points. Yeah, there's things that happened that they happened.
Bad ones. But
Jordan, take us away.
6 playoff games split between, well, now today, Saturday, and Sunday. And we
only 2 of them are on Saturday, though.
Right. 4:30 tomorrow. We have the 10-7 Las Vegas Raiders at the 10-7 Cincinnati Bengals. Your team's fate is getting decided right away. Bengals are -6.5 on this one.
So I'm gonna say this. I am taking the Bengals, which
shouldn't come as a shock.
The Raiders are a team that does not travel phenomenally well. And the Bengals Cincinnati Bengals are good at home.
Yeah.
So that's really the big reason why I'm taking the Bengals here. I really hope I do get to see a playoff win for the first time in my life. The Bengals haven't won a playoff game since 1991.
No, same as the Lions. I thought it was 92.
It might have been 92. It's been 30, 31 years, somewhere around there.
Well, the Lions just had their 30th anniversary of their last playoff win a couple weeks ago. I think last week.
Let's find out.
I thought I saw something. There was something funny. Like, there's not a single person alive today.
1991. So it has been 31. Okay. Yep.
It has. Well, it's been 30. Yeah. I mean,
this is 30. This is the 31st year.
Well, yeah, we're into the 31st year.
Yeah.
Yes. I saw something. Nobody has ever sent a text about the Bengals winning a playoff game because the first text message was sent the year after. Something.
Yep.
Weird.
You know what song was number 1 the year the Bengals won the playoffs?
Oh God, 91. Probably something that really didn't belong in the 90s. Probably something almost 80s-ish.
No.
I'm intrigued.
Vanilla Ice's Ice Ice Baby.
I forget that's a 90s song.
I have to hear that anytime Bengals playoff conversation. Anytime the Bengals come up in anything about the playoffs, I have to hear that.
I given that the Lions' last playoff win came in the same year, I don't hear all that too much. But I guess the Bengals have made the playoffs more frequently since than the Lions.
Yeah.
Just never did anything with it.
Let's move on.
To move this along, I am on the Bengals as well. I wish I could fuck around and take the Raiders, but I really can't. I really haven't had a lot of faith in the Raiders really all year, and that's not starting now. And I have had faith in the Bengals, so I'm going to keep rolling with them. We move in to the Viagra game. If you missed it, this is Patriots Bills. If you missed it,
so glad you said that.
Bart Scott on Get Up yesterday said he was asked if he had any advice for Josh Allen with how cold it's going to be. Bart Scott says, take Viagra. He says, I know a ton of NFL players that used to do that. Now, while I will say there might be some truth to it helping you, will help you help your blood circulate a little bit better.
Yeah.
As I put it in a message to you yesterday, it might have some unwanted side effects.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah. Oh, Josh Allen, don't look at the cheerleaders.
Oh, God.
Bills are -3.5 against the New England Patriots. Bills are the home team. And it's even better. I'm sure you see it.
Oh, God.
For the Viagra game.
Oh, my God. This is so fitting. Fuck.
The people. 69% of the people are on the Buffalo Bills.
Everything's just, the stars are aligning.
God damn it.
Meaning I'm about to take an L here.
Probably. Are you? Some say you're a man of the people.
Some say I'm a man of the people. They're wrong in this scenario. Give me Matthew Judon. Give me playoff Bill Belichick, and give me Matthew Judon again.
I really expected you to take the Bills.
Nope.
Well, then fuck it, I'm taking the Bills.
Okay.
I mean, I need to make up ground. I was going to take the Bills anyway. I was just surprised you didn't do it. Moving on.
Give me Matthew Judon.
That game's going to be, that's a must-watch game. I mean, I wouldn't want to be Josh Allen center tomorrow.
No. Nope.
Jokes are endless.
Oh, God.
Good God above. into the Sunday slate. Sunday at 1, the Philadelphia Eagles travel to Raymond James Stadium to take on the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Again.
Bucks minus, again. Yeah, they backdoor covered last time. I had money on that game. Although the spread was much smaller, or much bigger, rather. That one, I think it was 10.5. I think they were getting 3 more points, the Eagles were. And I think they lost by 10.
Yeah.
So, yay. Bucks are minus 8.5. Big spread on the people with this one. 74% of the people are on the fighting Tom Brady's.
Some people say I'm a man of the people. And in this case, I regret to inform them that they're right. I could see this being another backdoor cover. Kicking me in the dick here, but give me Tampa.
Yeah, maybe. I really don't know what to do with this. Bucks are banged up, but the Eagles are inconsistent. I'm not getting enough points. I know 8.5's, probably about as big as we'll see outside of one of these games, but I'm gonna roll with the Bucks. Maybe the Eagles lose by 10 again. Maybe. Let's hope so, for our sake.
Right.
Give me Tampa. 4 o'clock or 4:30 Sunday, rather. 10-7 San Francisco 49ers head to Jerry World to take on the 12-5 Cowboys. Cowboys are minus 3.5. People pretty split on this one. Slight favorite for the people on the Dallas Cowboys.
This is a game I'm probably going to regret picking this way.
Oh, no.
I could say that either way.
Yeah, you really could.
I'm going to preface this with saying I don't know if San Francisco can actually win this game.
Uh-oh.
But on the same token, I don't know how much faith I have in Dallas.
Ooh.
So I'm going San Francisco to at least cover.
Wow. Well, I will gladly take Dallas. I don't wish anything good on them. But Dallas is inconsistent, but San Francisco, it's been a wild ride. So, I don't know. Give me Dallas indoors. They take care of business at home, I think. And that big spread I alluded to. Here it is. The 9-7-1 Pittsburgh Steelers travel to GEHA Field at Arrowhead to take on the 12-5 Chiefs. Chiefs minus 12.5. I honestly figured that they would be giving more points to Pittsburgh. They are not. 12.5. And the people are a little bit more split here than I thought. 58% in favor of Kansas City, but I think it's just because it's a playoff game and that's a lot of points.
If you have $62 and you're in the Kansas City area Sunday night,
$62?
Yeah.
For a playoff game?
And that's not even the lowest. I just wasn't going to backtrack for the lowest of the week.
Jesus.
The lowest was the New England Buffalo game at 50.
Oh, nobody wants to freeze their ass off, I guess.
Yeah. Anyhow, if you have $62 and you are in the Kansas City area Sunday night, I don't know if I would go watch this game.
I would. I feel like ticket prices have been higher for the Chiefs in the regular season.
That is probably true. But you have to remember that $62 is probably going to get you up in where they had Jordan Love's mom and girlfriend.
Oh, no. Probably those same seats.
Yep, that is almost exactly where it is, actually.
Goodness gracious.
And Kansas City's not exactly a warm place this time of year.
No, not at all.
With that being said, I have Pittsburgh to cover the spread.
Ooh.
I don't think Pittsburgh's going to win this game, though. Kansas City just... They do some goofy things. And
tricky.
They're 4-1 in their last 5 against the spread. They've covered the spread a lot this year. At least in terms of the Kansas City Chiefs. They went, what, 400 some odd days without covering the spread, I think it was?
Oh, the Chiefs? It wasn't that long. It was
close to a year.
November. It was close to a year. It wasn't, yeah.
Wasn't all, okay. Yeah, it wouldn't be 400, but...
It was over 300 days. That we know. Because I don't believe they covered until October.
Yeah.
Or very late, very late September, and that streak started November of 2020.
Yeah, it did start November. You're right.
Early November as well, like the first or second. But
give me Pittsburgh here. Pittsburgh's not going to win. I think Kansas City will win by 10, but Pittsburgh to cover the spread.
Well, I'm kind of, I mean, from my perspective, kind of playing with house money on this one, because I believe in the Bills, and I believe in the Cowboys where you don't. So I'll just take the Chiefs. If I lose this game, I sure hope I win one of the other ones. Yeah, I'll take Kansas City. Why the fuck not?
Fair enough.
And the final playoff game. Oh, this is on Monday? Fuck. Well then.
I forgot about being on Monday too.
Oh, right, because, yeah, there's two Saturday, 3 Sunday, 1 Monday. Okay. The 11-6 Arizona Cardinals might be a home game for them. Give me Caleb. Give me Kelly Stafford. Did you hear what Kelly Stafford said this week?
I did not.
She was on some podcast, and what I don't, and it's actually fitting given that we're on the Rams. She was on some podcast, and why people invite her on podcasts anymore, I don't know. Because she says some outlandish things. She basically shit all over the Rams fans because she's like, every home game is an away game. Like, she was talking about the 49ers game specifically. She's like, we're the snap count. Like, when you're the home team, you're supposed to be no problems, right? She's like, well, visiting fans have traveled well to every game this season. Like, we're at a disadvantage. Just call it out, Rams fans. Oh my goodness. Dang.
Yeah, because usually Rams tickets are exorbitantly expensive.
Right.
Like, fuck. The Rams have had some of the highest ticket prices all fucking year.
As they should. That stadium's a spaceship.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're good.
Yeah.
Who cares? No. I think she's hot. Look, I can't argue with you there. But that lady, she is loopy. Like, she fits in well with, like, all of my ex-girlfriends because they're batshit crazy. Like,
I'm not going to say anything.
Mindset.
I've met some of your ex-girlfriends. I'm going to hold my tongue there. Let's pick this game.
Bad times, man. Rams are -4.5 at home against the Cardinals. Divisional matchup in a playoff game. Who knows?
I've seen it a couple times with the Bengals. So, yeah.
Right.
No. I've seen it a lot with the Bengals.
I mean, we got another one with the Bills Patriots.
Yeah. Give me the Rams here.
Yeah,
I can't pick the Cardinals. In good faith. Either.
Like, they have been so miserable this second half of the season. I'll even give them the back third of the season. But, I mean, come on. You lost to the Lions.
It's just...
And, like I said, I do want to see Matthew Stafford have a bit of a playoff run here. At least win a playoff game so we can end that narrative on him. Like, please. I mean, then, the goalposts will just get moved and it'll be like, oh, well, what happened in his other 3 playoff games? Blah, blah, blah. Don't care. Give me the Rams. Give me Matthew Stafford. Those are the Super Wild Card Weekend picks.
Alrighty, it is time for Champion Chump of the Week. And then Champion Chump of 2021. We saved Champion Chump of 2021 for this week for episode 20. So
We did indeed.
who, Jordan, pray tell, is your champ of this past 7 days?
Man, I went back and forth on a lot of different things, and I really couldn't pinpoint anything. So I'm just gonna go with something that I'm calling this champ of the week, basically just on speculation and just what I've seen. Is that I think everyone that considers himself a NASCAR fan is absolutely going to love this new car, the next gen car, the Gen 7 that we're running from here on out. Like, this thing I think is going to fix a lot of the problems that the last car had, and I think it's going to be really great. I think it's going to produce some great racing. At all but 3 tracks, I think we got more horsepower than we did the last couple years in these cars. Lower spoiler, that's what fans want. You know, NASCAR fans will still find a way to complain about it, but
Yep.
that's just the nature of the whole deal. But yeah, I really am impressed with this thing, and I think as time goes on, I mean, the sensible members of the NASCAR fan base will see that as well, and there's plenty of people that already do. I think this car's phenomenal. So, NASCAR fans, champ of the week.
My champ of the week comes from across the pond.
Oh,
Yeah. Yep. In the Football Association Cup in England, the FA Cup in England, Cambridge United on what day was this? January 8th. That would have been what, Sunday, I believe? Last Saturday. Cambridge United beat the richest team in all of the world. Who are they beating, you ask? Cambridge United, by the way, is the in the 3rd tier of British soccer. Who is the richest team in the world that they beat? You might be asking.
Detroit City FC, of course.
No, and not Liverpool. People are gonna laugh at this, but it is a true thing, and you can go look it up. Newcastle United is technically the richest team in the world.
Fuck.
Yeah, by like a long shot, actually.
Then why do they suck?
Their owner doesn't spend money, or their ownership group doesn't spend money.
Oh, okay, so it's kind of a fraudulent most richest club.
The team is worth $320 billion.
Jesus.
Man City, which is at 2, is at $22 billion.
Whoa. That's a wide margin.
Yeah. That's just in the Premier League, but yeah.
Goodness, that's still crazy though. Where do you have like a list in front of you right now?
I just put it away. Do you want other teams in the Premier League?
Just Chelsea. Want to see where that Roman Abramovich money puts us?
Chelsea is at 3rd at 9.6.
Okay, now Man United. Where are they? 4th.
Arsenal's 4th with Kroenke.
Right.
Aston Villa is 5th. More Saudi oil money.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Let's see. United is very old. This article I just pulled up is extremely old. 2021.
That's interesting. Newcastle United?
320 billion is what they were bought
Just
for.
absurd.
Wow.
Like, what are the Yankees? Like, the Yankees are like 500 billion, I believe. To put Newcastle in the same realm as the New York Yankees sounds insane.
Let's
Are
see.
you having difficulties?
No. Trying to see where I can actually find the Yankees at.
I mean, as far as I remember, they're the most valuable sports franchise in the world.
Forbes list, I don't know what year this is from, was at 5.2 billion USD. Newcastle United was bought for 320 billion.
Why?
Saudi oil money. Now it was in British pounds, so I don't know the entire conversion rate, but it's still
it's not a lot different.
It's still the richest soccer team in the world.
That's insane.
And this just goes to show that money doesn't win soccer games. So Cambridge, you're my champ of the week.
Fair enough.
Jordan, your chump of the week.
Enough. Goodness gracious. I could have gone 5 different routes here.
When I saw a thing that I wish I hadn't seen, and I wish I could forget.
Like, your chump of the week is one of them.
Yep.
I could have gone there. But instead, for at least the second time, and what might be the third time, I'm not quite sure. I should really start keeping track of this stuff. It is none other than Brandon Brown again.
Fair. That's fair.
So obviously, we had all the Let's Go Brandon coin drama nonsense crap with the sponsorship and everything like that. And then, I mean, it didn't go quiet for, after that. I mean, it has been only a week. But Brandon wasn't on social media really a whole lot, everything. Problem is, the CEO, or really he's just a hedge fund manager that's in charge of this coin, this meme coin LGB crypto crap, has been tweeting up a storm, threatening to sue NASCAR, hashtag cancel NASCAR, all things like that. And even though the whole mission statement of LGBcoin.io is to distance that phrase from the political space and turn it into a positive thing. Well, you look at this guy, I don't remember his name, James something. He's not, I don't want to pay any attention to him.
I wouldn't.
He has just been going wild. And what started Brandon's road to my chump of the week is that there is currently a online petition to reverse the decision by NASCAR not to allow the sponsorship, where he says that Brandon was left with no sponsors because of a woke media mob or whatever, which we all thought that could actually be true. I mean, for a while, that's what we thought. Well then, Brandon sponsors. By the way, Brandon came out and said nothing about this. He stayed quiet, wanted nothing to do with anything, because everything he says is bad at this point. but then he came out and said something, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
It's still bad. A couple of Brandon's former sponsors talked to a writer and said that they weren't even offered to come back. They were never drawn up contracts to return as sponsors, made no effort to re-sign with the team, or to have the team re-sign with the sponsor, and said, most of them said something along the lines of, well, we thought we were all good. Even one guy was like, I considered Brandon a personal friend. But then he met Coin Boy, said the man in charge of Larry's Hard Lemonade, which has sponsored Brandon quite a bit. And there it was. So you got this whole article saying, look, we didn't abandon him. He just went off and did his own thing. That's how it went. And, of course, that made the rounds. People were like, well, Brandon Brown's a piece of shit. What do you know? We already knew that. Then we get to, I believe it was the Mohawk Foundation, which
Something
had
like that.
sponsored, him a very small sponsorship. They allegedly paid him $1,000 to, I got it right here. Yes, the Mohawk Foundation. They had paid him $1,000, and they were named in this article as well, to be on the C post of Brandon's car, on the promise that he would help them raise at least $6,800 in fundraising for their work, and then Brandon would get 20% of whatever earnings they did through whatever charity work he helped them with. The Mohawk Foundation replies to Brandon's first attempt to appease his former sponsors. Oh, I'm so thankful for you, and takes pictures of all the different sponsors that have been on his car. I mean, there's 15, 25 of these, 25 different pictures in this thing. The Mohawk Foundation responds, any plans to reimburse us for the fundraiser you failed to do as promised? Or are you just going to keep dodging us and ignoring our messages? Now, of course, you had a couple people. Oh, this really needs to be. Does this need to be public? You really didn't need to do this.
Yes,
okay,
it needs to be public.
Apparently, it needed to be if he's not getting back to them and he didn't fulfill what he. Now, important to note, this was never a contract, but at the same time, it doesn't make you any less shitty.
No. It honestly makes you even more shitty. You say, hey, I'll do this, and then you don't.
Right, like they paid you $1,000 on the word that you would do this for them, and then you failed to do it. He later responded and said, message me privately now, we'll take care of it. Yeah, of course. Now that you've been put on blast by everybody, now you want to take care of it. Which led to what we had posted yesterday, which I'm not going to read in its entirety because it is a long ass statement.
It's an essay.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm convinced it's an essay that I'm convinced he himself wrote, because no lawyer could write something like that.
No, this was a disaster of a statement. Somebody counted, and there are at least 10 spelling and or grammatical errors in it.
Love it.
A couple of the sponsors that he has been involved with came out and said that they appreciated it, but there's plenty that he's broken ties with forever that they really can't ever get back on good terms with, just because of how poorly he has handled this whole scenario. It's just ridiculous. I don't want to talk about Brandon Brown for the rest of this season on the podcast. I really don't. I am so over this, and I hope this goes away, but I have a feeling it's not going to.
I hope it does. And not even as a non-NASCAR guy, but this is just one of those things that, like,
I'm just over it, but then he just goes and does something else that's just so blatantly dumb.
It's like when we had Bishop Sycamore on for 3 weeks running, or we had...
I've talked about Brandon Brown on this podcast for 3 straight weeks.
Or we had John Gruden 3 weeks running, where it's just like, we want this to be done, but something even more wild and stupid comes up and has to be brought up at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I got on that. I please let this be the last mention of Brandon Brown ever on this show.
Probably won't be.
I mean,
unfortunately,
let's be honest. He ain't winning a race again.
Correct.
So, I really don't think that's assuming he even makes it to the season. I don't know anymore, but interesting in a bad way is the best way to describe this shit. Really.
Well, my chump of the week doesn't need a lot of intro because I already said who it was. Top of the show, 3 hours ago. A little over 3 hours ago.
Caleb wasn't here for this. He might actually like this guy.
My chump of the week, Rico Beard, who, again, up until Monday when Jordan pointed him out to me, didn't know he existed.
I unfortunately did before that, ever since he's been on. I didn't know who he was before he got to 97.1. I had no clue.
Rico Beard.
He apparently had some other show. I don't know where it was.
What Rico Beard did on Monday set radio shows and live podcasts back decades.
Oh, I figured you'd know this, man. Sparty alum he is, Caleb.
Decades. As I alluded a little bit earlier when in Stupid People Say Stupid Things, an individual named Eric called into the show that Rico Beard is on with Mike Valeni.
Valeni Show with Rico.
Yep. This is exactly what it is called. The Valeni Show.
97 won the ticket in Detroit.
Yep. Eric wanted to say something about how the Lions rebuild was going better than the Giants rebuild or some other team's rebuild.
I believe it was the topic was the Valeni and Rico wanted to basically just say the sky is still falling. They wanted to take no positives from this season for the Lions because you won 3 games. What could possibly be positive about that? And like I said, if Barry Sanders can go on Pat McAfee and find positives about the Lions season and the rebuild, then then who are these chumps? Like
a guy who knows more about football, or well, not even knows more. A guy who's forgotten more about football than those two will ever know, most likely.
That's probably true.
Called in and caller by the name of Eric called in and was about to say something about the Lions and how there could be positives taken away from this rebuild.
I believe he said something along the lines of it was a bad take by Rico and he was going to try to defend that point.
Yeah. And Rico went ballistic, yelling and throwing a temper tantrum like a fucking 5-year-old.
Common theme on 97.1 these days.
To a point where when even Valeni said, "Can you let him talk?" Rico said no.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't hear it live.
I did not hear this live because this is something I didn't know existed, and I cared to not know existed. Jordan. The only reason I know this is a thing is because Jordan shared it with me.
I just
In
couldn't
post.
believe it.
And then eventually did hang up on the caller.
I just what I can't get through my head is
How can you be a radio host and then just go on a almost 3 minute long temper tantrum, just yelling no?
I mean, that happens in radio all the time. Like these rants. I mean, Valenti's obviously famous for them. He's had plenty. But to ask the caller a question, how is that a bad take? And then he tries to explain, and then you just repeat the question, how is that a bad take? And then you just keep interrupting him and interrupting him and interrupting him to the point where he's just like, can I talk? And Rico just says no.
Yeah, and then hung up on him. And then Rico took to Twitter, and all of the people that sucked this man's dick, this man who I didn't know existed, and honestly, my life was fucking better not knowing this man existed.
I mean, just the best way to describe it. Caller, you had a bad take. Rico, how is that a bad take? Defend yourself. Caller tries to defend himself. No, we ain't doing that.
Yeah, and he even said that. No, we ain't doing this. And then hung up on him, and then Rico goes to Twitter and
blocks a guy.
Is parading that he found this guy on Twitter and blocked him.
This middle school, come on.
Like, Rico Beard, you are a fucking chump. You are a bum. You are a fucking disgrace to radio. You are a disgrace to every live sports talk show, and you need to be fucking fired. You need to have every media credential you have taken away from you, and you need to go live in your mother's fucking basement.
I wish that Mike would have fired him the day after, like he said he might.
Like,
and there's another thing, yeah. I'll do this one really quickly, like, and I shared this with you as well. Like, the next day, they were talking about Mike's Giants, and obviously the Giants are in, like I said, I think they're the worst organization in football right now.
Yeah.
And, obviously Mike's complaining about it and whatnot. And I think Rico's exact line was, "You hate your life."
And that's well over the line.
It's like, and Mike said it. He's like, "You know me for 12 years. You know me personally. I just hate stupid people." Like, I hate stupidity. And he's just like, "You hate your life." And Mike's like, "Bullshit. You know that's not true. What are you trying to..." I don't even know what that whole line was. "You're the unicorn." Huh?
Like,
I don't know.
You told me about that. I haven't listened to that clip, and honestly, I don't want to. Otherwise, I might call into the show myself and just tell Rico that he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, well.
And then get myself blocked on Twitter, too.
No, what you got to do is
like,
have him interrupt you once and just be like, "Can I talk?" Apparently, that's all it takes to set Rico off.
Fucking disgraceful.
I mean, I won't even call it disgraceful because I just think it's dumb. It's childish. It's not good. Like, okay, cool. Like, the whole precipice of that show is just riling people up to get people to call in to debate things like this. And this guy's trying to do that, and you just keep interrupting him, and he's, "Nah, we ain't doing that today."
Like,
okay.
That right there, and I'm not just talking us, but sports media in general right now has this fantastic medium. Whether it be through radio, whether it be through video, whether it be through podcasts, or shows like the Pat McAfee Show on YouTube, or us here on Twitch, even our small corner here, have this fantastic, phenomenal medium right now to reach people. And then you have some fucking moron like Rico Beard, who is trying to set the entire fucking sports media industry back decades.
Like, who wants to call into that show right now, other than Michigan State Spartans fans?
If I was a Michigan State Spartan fan, I still wouldn't even want to call into that show.
Oh no, because they will not be critical of MSU. you can make any point. You can make any point you want about MSU. Everything is fine, but let's talk about Jim Harbaugh for 700 straight days. Like, come on.
Like, just fucking disgraceful. Who's your champ of the year, real quick? We're at 3.5 hours. This show's gone a little longer than I thought it would.
Well, you know, a lot of news as well.
Yeah.
So, I'm just gonna keep mine simple because it's something that I haven't experienced in my lifetime, and just say Michigan football, man.
Fair enough.
Like the Big Ten championship, when everyone said that couldn't be possible, playoff appearance, however it went, when nobody believed that would happen. I certainly didn't think that we would be winning the Big Ten and going to the playoff this season. After what happened last year, hell no. But it happened, no matter how much anyone tries to discredit it. Oh, even a blind squirrel finds an acorn sometimes, as I've seen about 1 million Ohio State fans say at this point. You know, it's going to be another 10 years before you beat us. Anyway, MSU football is a fair champ of the year. They had a good year. Nobody expected anything out of them either.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've been over Michigan football time and time again. My feelings on it are known. Let's just hope that this builds into something. Like, I hope it's just not a 1-year anomaly, and see how it goes. Nobody knows that right now. People are just talking shit on the internet, but we will see.
Mine, I could have went a couple of ways with this, and I actually might have to do a dual champ of the year from 2021.
Oh boy.
And I feel like actually the only way I could do a good service is if I do.
Okay.
And unfortunately, one of them is making me eat something I said on this podcast a couple years back.
Uh-oh. One
of my champs of the year is Shohei Ohtani.
Ooh, oh yeah. That's a good one. You were not on the Shohei Ohtani bandwagon when he first got here. I wasn't sold on him, but yeah, you were annoyed by the comparisons of Shohei to Babe Ruth. I remember that.
Yeah, I was never a hater.
No, you weren't
never a hater, but it's just like I never bought into it, and then he had that injury, and just it's like, yeah, this is why it doesn't work anymore.
And then it did.
And he had one of the best seasons, one of the best baseball seasons in a long time. And Shohei Ohtani has the best player in baseball on his team.
Right. Didn't for most of this year, but
yeah. So that's one of my champs of the week.
I mean, that's like the guy was in a home run derby and started the All-Star game the next day
as a pitcher.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, what?
Yeah,
doesn't make any sense. God,
no sense.
Love Shohei Ohtani. I am so glad that we got to see him when we went down in Detroit and watched those 2 games.
Yeah, he is a good ball player, and he was fun to watch live.
Yeah, we were there for Mike Trout and Albert Pujols, but Shohei Ohtani, little did we know.
Yeah, like Mike Trout is honestly probably the best player in baseball. Still, when he's healthy.
Yeah, even with the injuries, I mean, Trout's insane.
Because everything he does is just mind-boggling. But
still a 5-tool player, even though he doesn't steal a lot of bases, he's still fast.
Yeah. Shohei Ohtani, especially his swing, we did not get to see him pitch on the days that we were there.
No, we did not.
But his swing is just so smooth. It's butter.
It's a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
Like, I've always been a fan of lefty swings. Like, I always love Prince Fielders. But Shohei's is like, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. It's a piece of art, and he's a phenomenal baseball player. I was wrong. I figured he would be good one way or the other, not dominant both ways.
Right.
And hopefully the Angels can put a team around him and Mike Trout.
Yeah,
because
they need that bad.
It doesn't seem like Mike Trout's going anywhere. Seems like he wants to stay in LA because he also signed that huge contract.
It does still have a big deal, so
yeah.
I mean, I think Mike Trout's there for the long haul, but
yeah.
Please, just I beg of you, LA, get them some help.
Yeah. And my other champ of the year, Freddie Freeman.
Ooh,
because I love me some Freddie Freeman.
Freddie Freeman's a good one. I do like that.
I could go with the Atlanta Braves as a whole, but it just doesn't feel right to not single out Freddie Freeman in this case. And if Freddie Freeman were watching this show, he would probably want me to pick his whole team.
He probably would. Yeah, like I could definitely justify putting the whole Braves team in here because look at where they were at the All-Star break and look at where they wound up.
Yeah,
like, that shouldn't happen, but it did. And
Soler's ball is still flying through orbit.
That ball ain't ever coming down. The only way that ball stops is if it hits a planet out there in space.
Yeah, and it might go through the planet. Honestly,
I honestly wouldn't doubt it.
Soler's ball, that Soler home run is still flying and will forever fly. It will become the new center of the universe one day.
That ball is going to be its own planet.
Yeah,
it's going to collect space junk.
Yeah,
and just form. I don't know if you've ever seen the game Katamari Damacy. It's a little ball rolling around, just collecting stuff until it gets bigger, bigger, bigger. That is what that baseball's gonna do in space.
Yeah,
it's gonna collect so much stuff. Hey, depending on how far it goes, new planet right there.
And it's gonna keep going for a long time.
Right. Find its way in a new galaxy.
Yeah. But Freddie Freeman has powered that team. He has stayed loyal to that team. And for him to get a World Series win in what may or may not have been one of his final seasons or his final season in Atlanta.
I still don't believe it.
I don't believe it either.
Hard time believing that Freddie Freeman leaves Atlanta, but of course, until this lockout gets solved, ain't nobody going nowhere. So,
and he's a guy who just loves baseball and has loved playing for the Braves.
Oh yeah,
and former MVP in 2020, and it just wouldn't feel right not being able to single him out a little bit. He has powered this team the past year and a half, 2 years.
He powered them through some dark times.
Yeah.
with the Braves. Like, they haven't always been good. They weren't good at points this year, but he's been a constant there for a while now. So Freddie is a very good. If you're gonna single out anybody, it's got to be Freddie.
Yeah. So those are my two champs of 2021. Who's your chump of 2021?
Now the bad part. Mine literally could have been a chump of the last 2 years, because this is the situation that has been going on for quite some time, and that is, I guess former, but now current, but again soon to be former NASCAR YouTuber Jason Jacoby.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
Jason Jacoby is in the middle of I would say, a legal battle. It's not really much of a battle. There are videos and facts that are well known about his situation. He basically groomed a young 13-year-old girl to the point, I believe, that till she was 18, and got then as soon as she was 18, like, asked her out, blah blah blah. Like, I'll just sum it up and say the guy's a pedophile.
Yeah,
what he is. And It's funny. I mean, it's what he always. There's videos out there about that situation, plenty of them. So if you dare to go down that rabbit hole, they're out there. So he was arrested at one point, I believe, earlier this year, maybe the tail end of 2020. Eventually got released on bond, and one of the conditions of that bond was not posting on the internet for obvious reasons. And I don't remember when it was, November, I think, when there was an article of his that got brought up on the show.
Yep, it was around there.
November, somewhere in there, and that was the first time anybody had heard of him in a long time. And then kind of died down for a little bit, but then the Racing Jason Jacoby YouTube channel became active again. You want to talk about a rabbit hole? The videos that that man is so mentally sick. Like, I don't know who he thinks he's fooling. Like, one of the people who made a video about him, Black Flags Matter, on YouTube, another NASCAR channel, made a whole video about it, and Jason made a video a couple weeks back around Christmas time. In fact, I think it was either on Christmas or the day before, saying, "I'm not the pedophile, you are." Like, just flipping it on. And, you know, Jacoby's well-known racist as well turns that back on Darren. "I'm not the racist, you are." Ridiculous shit I've ever heard. He called into Dave Moody's NASCAR show on Sirius XM, pretending to be the guy who initially made the video about him, that involved the video that his ex-girlfriend and mother of his kid was involved in making, to tell her story. Yeah. He called up a Sirius XM radio show and impersonated him, and filmed himself while doing it as well. That's still up on YouTube, as far as I'm aware. You can see it happening. And then at the end of the call, he just says, "Moody, this is Jason Jacoby, something illegible." And Moody's just like, "Oh, okay." Another time he called up Moody as himself, or no, that it was the call where he faked being somebody else, where he was talking about how Confederate flags don't hurt anybody. And then there was another time where he called up and wanted to talk straight nonsense. He pushes this weird health and fitness agenda, and it's really strange. Like, I want to talk about the drivers, and how they could all be a lot more kinder to other drivers and and themselves. I want them to live happy and healthy lives. And, like, he's just the most fake ass Christian you've ever seen. Like, there's plenty of them in politics these days, but Jason Jacoby takes it to a whole nother level. Like, I could go on and on about this. If you dare go down that rabbit hole, there's plenty of videos, as far as I know, that they're still up. But the good news is that he shouldn't be online much longer, and then he might not ever get online again.
Yeah, distinctly possible.
Because, I mean, the facts in that case are out there, and they're public pretty much to everybody. The court where his case is being, taken care of is they made a motion late December to revoke his bond, that bond that he broke simply by posting on the internet. And there hasn't been an update on that yet. But they have made a motion to revoke his bond, so they're well aware of that situation, and we won't have to worry about Jason Jacoby much longer. I don't think. I think he'll be gone for a little bit.
It will be gone for a long time,
and prisons really don't like people who who really don't like pedophiles. We'll just say that. He's not gonna have a good time.
No. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Extremely fitting. I don't know if I'm going to be able to top your chump of 2021.
I mean, it's not really a competition.
No. Because once again, this is a scenario where I feel like I have to have two of them.
Fair.
Because there were two that were just so above and beyond bad. And I don't know enough about a whole lot about the Jason Jacoby scenario because I'd stay away from NASCAR stuff.
You don't want to know.
And I don't want to know. Like, when I heard about it when it was brought up on the show a few weeks ago, or about 2 months ago now. This is the first time I'd ever heard of it, and it's another thing I wish I didn't know, honestly. Again, I stay away from NASCAR and that kind of, and most NASCAR content.
Fair thing to do.
NASCAR is just not my thing, for the most part.
Right.
But I digress. These two individuals both come from the NFL.
Oh. Oh boy.
These two individuals we've talked about a lot. I could go three, but I don't even want to talk about Bishop Sycamore. They're a runner-up.
Oh God.
Bishop Sycamore's a third place, a runner-up. Just because I can't with them anymore. The fact that the state of they're gonna be in the news again soon, most likely, because they're getting a legal investigation right now.
Mm-hmm.
But there are two that are worse than them. Than the whole Bishop Sycamore scenario.
Fair.
John Gruden.
Obviously.
And Dan Snyder.
Very obviously.
Both of them were pretty obvious when I said from the NFL.
I mean, John Gruden, I knew for sure, because I forgot about Dan Snyder, and I didn't think that there was any way you were going to go Urban Meyer, and Urban isn't on the same chumpiness of John Gruden, so I was like, who could it be? Oh yeah, forgot about that guy.
Dan Snyder,
I like to not think about Dan Snyder a whole lot, like to pretend he doesn't exist.
Dan Snyder, I'm going to just keep it simple. Just look at the Washington football team. Like,
sell the team.
Sell the team. You have this 2-year debacle, and then you come out last week. Oh, we're going to announce our brand new name on February 8th. You're picking a fucking Tuesday. You're picking the most irrelevant day of. No, actually, I think it's on a Wednesday, which makes it even more irrelevant in the world of football.
Pretty much.
And you're doing it. Oh no, it wasn't even the 9th. It's the 2nd. Tuesday.
I do believe it is on a Wednesday because when we were talking about the most irrelevant day in football, I think I said something about the only good thing that happens football-wise on Wednesdays is MACtion.
Yeah, I think it actually happens on Wednesday, on February Wednesday the 2nd, because it's not even Super Bowl week. It's the week leading up to the fucking Pro Bowl that nobody's gonna fucking watch. So
probably not.
You picked the most irrelevant day of the most irrelevant week of the NFL season to do this. You've put your fans through a 2-year fucking debacle, making the team a fucking joke. The team was a joke anyway. You have raw sewage fall onto your fucking fans. I don't care what you say. And then you have the railing debacle, and you have Dan Snyder just being a shitty human being. It was slightly implicated that in the email, the John Gruden emails. Too.
Yeah, there's that too.
That Dan Snyder was a shitty human being. And then we'll go to John Gruden.
Oh boy.
Johnny boy, don't think I didn't forget about you. Or I forgot about you. 'Cause I sure as fuck didn't. John Gruden had those emails that got out of him using racist terms, homophobic terms, slurs. I can't even call them terms, they're slurs.
Yep.
Misogynistic slurs. Everything. Everything under the sun that he could find a way to be derogatory about, he found a way.
Basically.
Had those emails that he sent while he was also, I believe, working at ESPN at the time. He was not coaching, I know that much.
I do believe that is the case, yes.
He gets fired from the Raiders. Well, not fired. He gets allowed to resign. Call it what it was, because Mark Davis is also kind of a shitty human.
Well, and they're boys, you know.
Yeah. And Gruden and Mark Davis are boys. So, not going to fire. And Gruden and Mark's dad, Al, they were boys. Can't fire him.
Nope.
Yeah, just let him walk away peacefully. Did Gruden walk away peacefully just into the night?
Of course not.
No. John Gruden is now suing the NFL for two different things. And is trying to get an investigation going as to, because he believes that he was targeted, that it was a hit job.
No, you're just dumb, John.
You're just dumb. You're just dumb. Gruden and Dan Snyder, my chumps of 2021. Like,
and to anyone that did not make this list this year, don't aspire to make it next year.
I haven't pressed the button a lot this show. Chumps of 2021, you guys are
loser, 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 loser,
Well, Dak, here's the
loser,
deal. I'm the best.
loser,
Only 4?
loser, 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 loser.
okay. That's enough.
Oh, you're still going. I couldn't hear you hitting the button anymore. I thought you stopped at 4.
No. Nope. Nope.
Good, got it. One for the road so we can get out of here.
One for the road so we can go to bed. Who's your one for the road?
Well, the unfortunate thing is that I cannot make it the Dick Small Classic. Because that was today. Oh, man. So,
my God.
I don't remember who it was that I initially saw shared for this. It's probably Big Cat or something. And
That name is so glorious.
actually, no, it was Barstool Detroit that I saw this. This is an indoor track and field event, invitational, held by Lawrence Tech. Or no, sorry, this was a Lawrence Tech post. It's held at Defiance College in Defiance, Ohio.
Yep.
Division III NAIA school. And their name of this tournament or this invitational is Dick Small Classic. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Like, it's a graphic in front of my face.
Yeah, no, it's real.
Sponsored by Henry Ford Health Systems.
Yeah, real.
Good God, I can't do that. I really, my intention was to do that pretty much all day, so I kind of got to take an easy road here. Although I won't do just wild card weekend. I'm gonna go Bills Patriots. That is my one for the road. Watch that one. 8 p.m. tomorrow, I believe, or 8 p.m. later today.
Dicks. That was gonna be my one for the road, so I'm gonna have to pick a different game. Because yeah, you're right. That's definitely the game to watch this weekend in wild card weekend.
I mean, to be fair, I'm gonna watch probably all of them, but Steelers Chiefs might be a shitty game, but probably Big Ben's final one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, there's really no bad one necessarily. Maybe Eagles Bucks.
Yeah, that one's gonna be bad. As much as I want to go Bengals Raiders, as much as I want to, I'm not going to. I am going to go to Monday night.
Ooh, yep.
Arizona travels to SoFi Stadium to play the Rams. 8:15 Monday night.
Good one.
Those games this year have been fun. The Cardinals beat the Rams 37-20 back in September. And then back in week 13, I think it was, 12 or 13, the Rams beat the Cardinals 30-23.
Yeah. Rubber match. We'll see.
We have the rubber match here, and this series has been good. So I think this one will be a fun game to watch. And
Matthew Stafford, get her done.
Can the Cardinals? We got some good storylines. Can the Cardinals actually, play football, play good football?
No.
Again, can Matthew Stafford win a playoff game? We'll see.
I mean, hey, at least Sean McVay agrees with me that he should have won one at least. Looking at you, Dallas. More specifically, Anthony Hitchens. Or the refs that picked up that flag. Anyway.
So yeah, that's my one for the road. So
longer show than expected, but
yeah,
we did have an hour-long stupid people say stupid things, and we did have a minor technical difficulty there in the middle of it. So
yeah, that's what happens when we sometimes. Actually, no, this was only 7 days apart. We didn't have a longer break between shows.
It felt like it, but we did not.
Yeah.
We were on Friday last week, too.
Yeah. Alrighty. Episode 20 is in the books. This is the most we've done in one season, I think.
Ever. As far as we know.
We know.
We're not sure if we've counted.
So, with that being said, guys, I don't really have a lot of final thoughts. Jordan?
I mean, I think we've covered the fuck Dan Snyder thing on 2 separate occasions here.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we did.
I'm gonna leave that how it is.
Yeah, and we already covered it right there too with the final thoughts. we slipped it in.
It was said regardless.
Yep. So with that being said, everybody, have a good weekend. We will see you as long as nothing stupid happens. The intention is to go back on to Wednesdays, I think.
That works. I'll make whatever we need to have work. We'll make it work.
Wednesdays usually works for me as long as, now that we're out of the holidays, I know 2 weeks ago it was just family and some bad planning, and then this week was Charter Spectrum.
Charter Rectum.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Charter.
Can't win them all. So with that being said, hopefully we will see you Wednesday. That's the plan. And until next time, peace out. I completely botched an entire half of the outro. Thank you for making us a part of your night, however you may be. It's 2:30 in the morning. I'm tired. Thank you for making us a part of your evening, wherever you may be watching and or listening from, however you may be watching and or listening. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, peace out. Stay classy. See ya.
Botchamania.